Picture this. You have a long commute to work and just want to listen to a good podcast, but there are too many choices. Anime, film, comic books, science. What will you do? Well, never fear. We are here with all of your podcast needs. Welcome, all freaks and geeks. We are the Square Roundtable Podcast, a collective of Black nerds discussing all things anime, comics, science, and pop culture related. Please join us for our weekly podcast every Friday on squareroundtablepod.fandomlim.com, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcasts. Be there and be square.
Once again tasked with finding a new director, the producers of the Harry Potter films hired British TV director David Yates, who had the challenge of putting the longest Potter novel on screen.
You're a wizard, Harry.
At a whopping 870 pages long, it was thought by many that it should be split into 2 movies. However, Yates turned the longest book into the shortest movie thus far by trimming out all of the unnecessary plot lines.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Several new characters were introduced for this film, including Luna Lovegood, played by newcomer Ivana Lynch, Brendan Gleeson as Mad-Eye Moody, and Imelda Staunton as the villainous Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Dolores UMBRIDGE. Going on to eventually rake in about $942 million at the worldwide box office, the 5th Harry Potter adventure became the second highest grossing film of 2007, behind only Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. The Order of the Phoenix, for the most part, is adored by fans and critics and is considered to be one of the better films of the series. But what did we think of it? Returning to the show for this episode is friend of the pod, producer, and filmmaker Daniel Leeds. So join Colin Harris and I as we uncover the magic and political intrigue of the 5th Harry Potter film. We watched the 2007 magical family classic, David Yates' Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is a show about franchises, wizarding movie franchises. You're listening to License to Watch.
Why in the world was this movie made?
I've also been looking at more memes about what's canon and what's behind the scenes, BTS type crap.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bet there's a lot of that for this one.
Yeah. The main thing is that Cho is not the one who actually tattles in the book. And I think that's
Who is the squealer in the book?
She's
Cho's
not in the movie. It's a character that didn't make it.
Okay. Well, that makes sense because they included a lot of characters in this movie that are clearly, I would hope, have more going on in the book.
Yes.
Because there's that's one thing I noticed about this is this is a very flawed movie in a lot of ways.
What is this movie that we're talking about?
It's Harry Potter and the Order of the don't give it away. And the Order of the Phoenix, which is of course the code word for Dumbledore's army. Maybe I don't know. Is that the one that her parents made?
Yeah, no. Order of
it
the
would
Phoenix.
make more sense if this was called Harry Potter and Dumbledore's army, because that's what you actually see in this movie.
Oh, much like how The Goblet of Fire wasn't
Yes.
a great title? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not that it's not because Dumbledore's
It sounds cool.
Dumbledore's Army would be a stupid title, just like the
But it
the
is-
Triwizard Tournament would be a stupid title.
Yes.
but it would be a way more accurate title for what the movie's actually.
That's what we're
about.
going for here is accuracy.
Yeah, but I noticed.
The playground that the movie starts on is a horrible place.
I love this kid's look though.
This scene makes no sense
this-
because it's like Harry goes there to be alone and swing, and there's some parents with some kids, and then all of a sudden Dudley and his homeboys are there.
Yeah, and they do look like Dudley and the Homeboys. That's that would be their rap group. They probably have a rap group, honestly. These are the kind of kids who they definitely do bad white rap.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We should say that our guest today is, our returning guest, I should say, is none other than Mr. Daniel Leeds. He came straight from New York
Did they make Dudley's
I came
eyes closer
for the
together than-
recording. It's a pleasure to be here with you
We
guys.
flew him out for location recording.
Hello, listeners.
We said, let's do it over Zoom. And he was like, no, fuck that. I'm coming.
I think they're doing some kind of VFX to make Dudley's eyes closer and closer together. In every movie.
That's what
They're
he looks
eventually
like.
just going to be one eye in the middle of his face.
That's what he looks like. This playground looks so awful, though. Like, it's
Yeah,
where is
who
it?
would build a playground there?
English people.
Yeah, this is one of those things where it's like you don't.
It has one of those merry-go-round things that I don't think they make anymore, where like you can get yourself really hurt.
Yeah.
No, they don't make
Which
them
are the
anymore
best.
because during USC, I searched for the Lou Brothers for one for the whole summer for their film and never found one.
Yeah, and that's sad because those are the most fun and dangerous playground activities. Is like spinning those things as fast as possible and then potentially going flying off.
Yep.
Did you ever see there was a guy hooked his truck up to one of those with like a tow line?
Oh, yeah, and he
yanked
just
it, and there was
ripcords
like
it.
4 people like holding on, and they all immediately go flying about 20
Yeah.
feet in every direction. It's hilarious.
They all died.
They were all killed. Yes, instantly. But yeah, this isn't a good. This movie has a lot of flaws. I'll put it that way. Like some of the editing is really choppy. There's like inexplicably choppy. Like some of the action, like in the final action sequence, there's like people get like knocked on their ass, and then they're like, "Oh, good shot," but you didn't see what happened, and just weird stuff that's kind of left out. But also, there are so many loose ends with like characters that you're like, "Oh." You know, like the guy who's with the young girl who's with Mad Eye Moody.
Tonks. Yeah.
Yeah. So like she's got like lines and it's like they're building her to be like a character and then she basically has like one more line in the entire movie and she shows up at the end. Or like Luna, this girl who's like creepy and weird and like clearly is an important character except she's like her story's like totally half finished and we don't know anything about her and it's just like she's this weird blonde girl.
I do think she's still one of the best parts.
But I don't get it, you know. Like,
Daniel and I were talking about this on the way here, that there's a lot of plot things that they set up here that don't pay off by the end of this movie, but they are ultimately things that will pay off like later on.
Okay.
Which
it is
has
frustrating in this movie.
It is, and frustrating is the key word because I feel like that is the theme of this movie for me is like what this boils down to is a movie where we as the audience know that Harry is telling the truth, that Voldemort has returned. But it's a movie filled with people who don't believe him, and they spend the duration of the movie. He spends the duration of the movie trying to get people to believe him, and it's ultimately it's like very frustrating for an audience to watch this story unfold because we know already that it's the truth, and it's just like I don't know as a plot device. It's like it's just I think we've talked about it before. I don't remember what it was, but like. When the entire movie is the point of it is just to frustrate you.
When we're so far ahead.
Yeah.
And it also, like, not to get too political, but it is I found it very appropriate that this was all like the government not wanting to believe a certain thing and just being like, nope, fake news.
Yeah.
That's
we're
right.
not going to pretend, we're going to pretend like this isn't an issue.
It's this one has some real metaphors for real life political things.
Would you call this movie a political thriller?
Yes.
Yeah, it's basically like it's the parallax view of Harry Potter movies.
It is.
But what, like, with this political, you know, like, obviously there's like this conservative leaning politicians, but we don't ever find out what they want besides silencing him or just not believing him. Like, there's
They want the Dark Lord to not be returning. They think if
they're just sticking their heads in
Yeah.
the sand.
I guess, yeah.
Except for Umbridge, actually, I don't know, but we don't find out till later. But Umbridge is pretty down with Voldemort.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Okay, well, a spoiler alert because I
my
did
bad.
not catch that. Although she is I'm glad that there's like an explanation for her being so awful because like she was really, I mean, what's her name? Helena Bonham Carter like murders Sirius Snape at the end of this one, and I still liked her better than
Sirius Black.
Sirius
Black.
Black.
Yeah, right.
Get the stupid names right.
Yeah, right. Well, there's similar names. But like she kills him at the end of this one, and I still didn't hate her as much as what's her name, the lady in the pink.
Umbridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very good.
She's the
villain.
worst. And like later you find out she is fully like the kind of racist they have in this, where it's like pure blood only and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of go at it when she's like yelling at the centaurs, you know, about like not being
You filthy animals,
Yeah.
half blooded things. Yeah. Is anyone else feeling Mrs. Dursley right
Fiona
now?
Shaw looks fantastic in this film. I love what she's wearing. She's looking like she's in great shape.
No notes.
Amazing.
This has been the leering portion of the show.
I just want to give my just a spoiler for my number one giant takeaway from this. Did Daniel Radcliffe get good at acting between the last movie and this one? It was stunning. Like, he still does that weird little underbite smile every once in a while, but like, he does some actual acting that isn't abysmal in this.
Well, it's a new director, so maybe he was able to pull something. I also noticed that when he really emotes at the end, when there's a death or whatever, it goes silent, and it's like sort of montage, and it's just him silently screaming. Mm-hmm. So that helps.
Yeah.
Eliminate the sound.
Exactly. I think it's a combination of them sort of, working with him to cut around him a little better, but also I think he got better, which he's been abysmal, and Emma Watson too, and she's slightly better in this as well. But I kept on like seeing him in certain scenes and being like, what? He could not have done this. He did it.
I think by this movie he was already branching out and doing other acting gigs too. So before this, he was limited.
Yeah,
in
and
range.
then he was getting other jobs. They're like, "Oh, sorry, no, you're gonna have to actually act in this. we could cast anybody. We're not stuck with you."
I like all his drawings on the wall in his room. I don't know if you guys noticed behind him. They're
Quidditch
all of like
World
the
Cup.
owls.
Yeah.
They're like child's drawings.
Drawing owls. Yeah, see, this is like she's the first one in the room. She got the light,
And the like maybe African guy, they kind of set
Kingsley?
him up too. Yeah, Kingsley.
Mm-hmm.
He's a badass though.
Yeah.
He's just like, he just looks like he's like good at wizarding. They all do. Like this little crew, even
Yeah.
though these like the two people on the end,
The guy with the fishtail on his head, don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Yep. Fish head.
Yeah.
Wait, did we miss the newspaper clippings yet, or is that once they get to the
I think
series?
that's once they get to the
Okay.
place.
The ones that say like Dumbledore, daft, or dangerous.
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one.
My favorite is the newsboy with his little thing, and he's like, Dumbledore, is he daft or is he dangerous?
Again, a new way that wizards can get great distances. They can just take their fucking brooms, apparently. Like, like, I don't know what the mileage is in this. If it's like an electric vehicle and they have to recharge it at certain points, but it seems like everyone's always like, later in this very same movie, they're like, how are we going to get to London? And they fly on those weird skeleton
No, it's
horses.
because they took their brooms. Matt explained to me.
They stole the brooms?
Well, they confiscated them because they were in trouble. But I do like this sequence of like seeing. Is this London? Sorry.
Yeah, it's London.
Yeah, obviously they're just fucking Buckingham Palace.
I think this is
Okay.
China.
Or that's not Buckingham Palace. That's the thing Big Ben. did.
Okay, cut that out.
Yeah.
That's the...
No, but it's definitely London. But like, at least 10,000 people saw them do that. Like, what the fuck? Like, are they hiding? How did they? What about the regular people who just could easily see them doing like obvious wizard shit?
Right. This part where they split he looks both ways in the street to make sure nobody's watching as he splits his apartment building in half. I half expected when he does this for Harry to go, I love magic.
Well, he does make a face.
He does make a face like
right
how
here,
did
like-
you do this? What are you? This is amazing. What are you guys wizards? Oh yeah, got it. Yes.
Oh, right.
Sorry, I forget.
This is the 5th movie.
It's been 8 years, Harry. Come on.
Yeah, you're a wizard, Harry. I'm sorry, I've got memento disease where I forget 5 seconds later. They got to keep on reminding him, you're a wizard, Harry.
There is a part later in this movie when like it's revealed that Voldemort is back. Someone says like, "Oh, we've alerted the Muggle Prime Minister." Like going to what you're saying, like, aren't they supposed to be hidden?
Yeah.
Right. But apparently the leaders of the world must be in on.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
the wizards are
has
like the Area
returned.
51 of the UK.
right.
Yeah, so
once
you
you reach the president, then that guy, the Weasley guy from Independence Day, he's allowed to tell you about the wizarding world. You know what I'm talking about?
Weasley guy from Independence Day.
Yeah, remember how like the president in Independence Day is like, has anyone seen Independence Day?
Yeah, Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman. He's like, what are we supposed to do about this? And then the guy's like, oh, well, like, we should go to Area 51. And then he's like, Area 51's not real. And then the other guy's like, excuse me, sir.
Oh, the Weasley guy.
Yeah,
Isn't that Weasley guy also the Weasley guy in Air Force One?
I think so.
He always plays like a presidential
He
weasel.
always plays a weasel.
He should have been a Weasley in this.
Yeah, and he also works for the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in the Wizarding world.
Also, speaking of Weasley guys in the Muggle world, Mr. Weasley doesn't know how to use a subway, even though he's basically like his job at the Ministry is like
Muggle
looking
stuff.
at Muggle shit.
Yeah, I hate that part.
And
his
it's like,
whole
wait.
job is Muggle stuff, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, these Muggles." Oh,
And I'm like, wait, do wizards never ever engage in the Muggle world in any way, or like, like is Harry Potter the only wizard who actually lives in the Muggle world? That doesn't make any sense.
that doesn't make sense. But it's also the fact that his whole job is knowing about the Muggle world, and he knows like way less than Harry Potter, like way less than everyone. It's so ridiculous. Like he's getting paid by the government to like
Study.
know about the Muggles, and
That's what I want. Sweet government job.
this
Can't fire
this
him
movie's
either.
very political. And now I realize the confusion. I was saying Weasley and the Weasleys are in this movie. Yeah.
What do you guys make of this? Daniel pointed out to me that Hermione and Ron are always in stripes, and Harry's always in solids throughout this movie.
In multiple scenes, yeah. Well, so I was remembering, I'm pretty sure in the book that there was like a much bigger kind of like introduction about Harry spending the time out of school alone, like after like the horrific events of dealing with like Cedric getting killed, and like he hadn't heard from Hermione or Ron, and so there was like this awkwardness when he gets here, and they've all like been spending all this time together, and he's like, oh, like so this whole time
They're
you guys have
dressing
just been,
alike.
yeah, you're dressing alike or hanging out, like, and so like, you know, there is a huge part about this with like him dealing with like seeing
The
that death
imbalance
and
of their trio.
yeah, that and feeling isolated, I think.
We're just supposed to pick that up from those like disgusting swings he was on in the beginning.
Well, that is, I did. So after critiquing the many ways this movie falls short, I did love this movie. I thought it was really good. I had a lot of fun watching it. Even the parts that didn't make sense were fine. But my favorite thing about it is of all the Harry Potter movies, and you know, it's not like any of them are super complex with what themes they're exploring. But this one had the most clearest through line of like Harry needs to stop trying to do everything himself, and his friends are his strength. And it's like they do a good job of sort of building it right from the beginning. He's alone on a swing. He's feeling isolated. He feels like the weight of the world's on his shoulders, and Dumbledore's ignoring him, and Sirius is somewhere else, and you know, and his friends keep asking to help, and he won't let them in. And then finally, at the end, that's like he's got to sort of come to that conclusion, which made it very rewarding. Compared to some of these other movies where it's a little simpler, but also less of a dramatic arc.
True. Doesn't mean you have to whip your wand out for everything, though. Sorry, I just love that line. I know it kind of didn't make sense with what you were saying.
No,
it's a good line, and you can I can almost like hear the audience laughing when she says that. You know.
Yeah.
It's we're all thinking it, guys.
Yep. You don't have to wag your wand at everyone you see.
Yeah, you're right. They do set her up to be memorable, like, oh, we got to remember this character. She's something. And then she kind of disappears for the rest of the movie.
Well, she ends up married to the werewolf guy.
Spoiler.
I thought he was gay.
Well,
I guess
what does that mean? I mean,
yeah, that's true. It's a spectrum. They do have a lot of setups of, like, in every scene that Ginny Weasley is in, and especially the ones with Cho, you see a lot of like side eyes from her, like fucking Cho.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's back in this movie too. Are we missing any key players? Like, I feel just looking at the credits at the end when they show all the actors, I'm like, damn, this is like a who's who of like.
Right, Kenneth Branagh, I think, is the only major actor that
he
was in a previous one, and
he was a one and done. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, John Cleese is gone though. Cleese was in the first three, I think, and he's like fully gone now.
I don't think he ever comes back. Yeah, that was goofy.
Like when they go to Hogwarts now, like there's not a bunch of just ghosts like
Moaning Myrtle
flying around. Yeah, like Moaning Myrtle, John Cleese, but like in the first two movies, when they went to Hogwarts, there were ghosts like everywhere. They were just like hanging out. Like that one time they're just like walking through a room and a whole like cavalry guy bursts through a window
with
as
like
a ghost.
head, and the headless guy chases him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like those people just aren't.
I could use more of that.
Those phantoms just aren't around anymore.
Well, there's a couple of like elements of the world that aren't in this, like with Quidditch. There's like no Quidditch going on.
Yeah,
a lot of the elements of like what
finally.
like they're used to in school just like isn't happening. Like like the ghosts.
Yeah.
And then like we never get to Diagon Alley. Like I just feel like there's a lot of parts of it that we don't see. It's very, but like it's like it's just so plot heavy with
Maybe
following.
that's part of why I enjoyed it, because like I think I was kind of sick of the school shit. Like I feel like we'd done that to death.
Yeah.
I was definitely sick of the Quidditch, and I felt like we'd moved past it. Like there's bigger issues. And when we do spend time in school, it's almost like the owls that they're studying for and stuff like that are kind of like afterthoughts just to be, joining scenes. But that Umbridge lady is more like the school scenes are mostly just to set her up as the villain that's impeding them.
I don't know if it's because we were like, yeah, like he doesn't know what an escalator is. Come the fuck on. You're supposed to study muggles. What are you getting paid to do? Anyways, back to what I was saying. Like, I feel like, I don't know if it's because of like how old we are when the Harry Potters came out, but for me, and I think it seems like Harris also, like these movies give me like a real hankering for like them acting like adults and like not acting like children. You know what I mean? Like them, like I want them to get older, be mature, like do the shit that they got to do. You know what I mean? Like I want them to grow up. Like I get that feeling when I like watch these and stuff. Like I want them to start to like, because they're so ineffectual when they're younger too. And like, you know what I mean? Like in the first one, he almost like lucks out to like
to win.
To win, to come out on top. And like
He says that in this movie too.
Yeah.
I thought that was good too, that he like fesses up to the fact that almost every movie has been resolved by him just getting sort of dumb lucky.
Yeah.
Or having a lot of help.
And we did, I think, discuss this in the last episode that it's an odd series in that it starts with them as children and ends with them as adults and it being so dark. And yeah, it does create that for adults, like who obviously there's tons of adults who love this series. You know, you kind of have to watch the first couple of ones to like get through it, you know, but like it is frustrating. You're right. You know, again, adding to the theme of this movie, frustration, is that like, we do want to see them grown up and have grown up adventures and love each other and like, you know, have real fights with the bad guys. And like, yeah, it's almost like a Deus Ex Machina to have like the teachers come in and like save the day at the end.
Yeah, like it almost doesn't make sense that the teachers weren't more involved in resolving the earlier ones. And now they're kind of like getting to the point where, first of all, shit's getting out of hand. And also, you know, they are old enough that they can start to be like, hey, you know, we want to fight. We want to be prepared. And yeah, I think that's what I enjoy about this, is that they are kind of acting like adults and being treated like adults, and you don't have to always have like, why don't these idiot kids do this or do that, you know?
It's been weird to like, you know, grow up watching this or reading them and watching it as like a kid, you know, and I don't know about you guys, but watching it now, and like you guys been watching the first 4 too before this, but it seems like there's like the generation of like the students in Hogwarts, and then there's like these adults, but there's like no one our age. Like there's like where are all the people in this world that are like in their 30s? It's like it feels like you're either a child or then you're a parent, teacher who's like elderly. There's like nothing in between.
They're all like middle managers at the ministry or something. They're all working like in Muggle or in wizard cubicles.
They're all studying abroad in the States.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we haven't mentioned one of
grad school, wizard grad school.
Yeah, wizard grad school. We haven't mentioned one of the most frustrating things about this movie. Dumbledore don't do shit this time. Again. Well, in this scene, in the first scene, Dumbledore really comes through. But after that, he continuously like hides in his office.
The first
but
scene,
he takes the heat for them getting in trouble for going into the remember requirement.
He comes in, he saves Harry at his trial, and then he takes the heat for Harry and immediately disappears again, and then he shows up and fights Voldemort, which are good, important things. But what doesn't make sense is, what doesn't make sense though is in the midsection of this movie, he is like intentionally giving Harry the cold shoulder, but doesn't explain why until the very end. He's like, I thought that if I avoided you, you know, I don't even know what his, like, I don't even know.
He thinks Voldemort can read Harry's mind, so he doesn't want like Voldemort to read Dumbledore's actions through Harry's mind, right? Is that right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But it seems like he could, you know.
It seems like he's going too far in the other direction to where he's like treating Harry like Harry did something wrong already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But also, like, yeah, like I just didn't buy that, like, with Umbridge coming there, that Dumbledore would stand back idly.
Yeah.
Like, I really,
Yeah,
based on how he's been all along and, like, the pride he has for the school and the students, like, that he'd really let Umbridge act that way is crazy.
The Ministry is very powerful, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and also, like,
But their security's not that great.
Yeah.
my boy Fudge, he's been sort of a force of good for the past couple of movies, right? And all of a sudden he's like a foil in this.
Yeah, he was very, like, he was friendly with Dumbledore up until the point of saying that Voldemort's back, and he won't accept that. Is, I guess, the whole his thing. We didn't get to see him make that turn, though.
Right.
Yeah, and we also don't understand. Again, Daniel and I were discussing this in the car. Like, at the end, he sees Voldemort, and he's just like, "Oh, he's back." And you realize there was no larger plot. Like, it felt like maybe he was being strong-armed to, like, say that Voldemort is not back. Like, you almost feel like
or hypnotized or something.
Yeah, something. And it's just, no, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
He just,
And I like how he's like, he just walks in and he's like, oh, the Dark Lord's back.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be darned.
Exactly.
Like, I guess I'm the idiot now.
Then he resigns.
yeah, which I guess makes sense. Like, he fucked up. So it's like, yeah, he's got to
No,
resign
he
now.
should have pretended it was no big deal and tried to consolidate even more power because of that.
But is he back? I don't know. I think I was tactically could have been partially right.
It's just a flu. I mean,
we're looking at Dolores UMBRIDGE, the new, was it the teacher, what's the fucking role called? The teacher?
Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Defense Against the Dark Arts, that's it.
She's not that yet, though.
Well, she will be.
In the next scene.
Yeah, she's an interesting character.
Maybe the most hateable villain of the whole series, and not Voldemort.
Right, because even Voldemort's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You'd want to have a beer with Voldemort,
And by this point, you're actually, like, don't even feel like Snape's that bad, right? With her kind of coming in as the villainous teacher, you're like, Snape's actually okay.
Yeah,
I've always been Team Snape.
Yeah, because Snape is not into it. The only one who's into it is the guy with the cat. What's his name?
Yep.
The
Filch.
janitor.
Yeah, Filch. Yeah.
Filch is great in this movie. Like him constantly hanging the letters on the wall.
Yeah, but she's like the worst villain of the whole series. All the other villains is like, Snape is like, he has, Snape is complicated. Like, Voldemort, I'd like to see Voldemort in the club. Like actually out on the dance floor, just with the way he moves in
bet he
general.
gets down.
I would love to see
The way he holds his wand between weird fingers. And
waves his arms around.
There's a lot of good, funny, like memeable imagery of Voldemort in this movie. There's like one shot where Harry's looking in the mirror and he's in like a zip up hoodie, and then like it's Voldemort's face like over his face, and it's like it just looks like Voldemort wearing a zip up. And then there's another one where he's in like a suit and he looks funny. He's just like, for a snake person, like he pretty much only looks good in like long wizard robes. Like in any normal clothes, he just looks silly.
There's something about like, even when someone's evil though, when you can tell they enjoy doing it, there's like it's a little bit more endearing.
Umbridge, you're talking about?
No.
Oh.
No, like
Yeah, she doesn't
Voldemort
seem like
really
she
has a
gets-
good time with it,
yeah, she doesn't seem like she's getting into it that much. She just,
Umbridge just keeps getting more and more uptight. If she lays down a
Yeah,
rule, another one gets
Beatrice,
broken.
Beatrice, on the other hand, is like what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Bellatrix?
enjoys
Oh
it.
yeah.
Bellatrix, yeah.
She's like, bad and loving it.
Yep. But I do like Umbridge's like always wearing pink. I think that's a funny look for this world of like everything's pink, and she's got all the cats, the moving cats on the
I love
walls.
that. I felt like that was a Harris thing. Like if you could do that in your apartment, you would have that.
I have a big question about this. The scene where Sirius Black shows up at the train station. Okay, so he was posing as a dog, and he goes into the little room where we see him like silhouetted behind a translucent glass, and we see the dog change into a human. And when that happens, the human's clearly wearing a coat. But then when Harry enters the room, Sirius is in the corner like he's putting on a coat, and it looks like he's naked under his coat. So does that mean if you transform into an animal, you lose your clothes, and when you transform back, you're naked, and then you have to put on a coat? Or was the coat part of the transformation? Because there's two different messages with what I've seen visually here. Any thoughts?
I mean, well, a dog has a coat,
That's true.
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So, I mean, it happens fast, and I couldn't tell from that silhouette if he was wearing a coat or not.
Maybe he wasn't putting the coat on. Maybe he was just like buttoning it. So
Why was he in the corner like that?
because he doesn't want his wangle dangling around in front of everybody.
Why is he
Red
naked
Rocket.
under the coat?
Because the coat is the only part of the dog that he gets to keep
Okay, so if you transform into an animal, you don't
that has
keep
a coat. You can keep
Okay,
that
so if he
animal's coat.
transformed into like a hairless cat and he transformed back,
Right, then he'd just be fucked.
He'd be naked.
Yeah.
okay.
Here's
We
what
would
we
have
had
like
more-
an extra skin.
But if he
on
was a
him.
hairless cat, he would be used to that and be okay with it and not embarrassed. Yeah, no, I think because it is a furry like dog fur coat that he's wearing.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it's not really like a nice coat. It looks like I don't know.
It's the kind of coat a dog would make.
This is a
And
huge question
enjoy.
for me. Why was he like in the corner like that? Like
Because he didn't want Harry to see his weenus. That was what it was all about. He was like, because when he comes back, the coat isn't all buttoned and straightened out. It's like on him, but not like on him, you know? And he was like, don't look until I put my wiener away.
yeah.
Which is like, if they're going to live together and be a family, he might see the guy's wiener, like that's a
Possibly,
possibility. Yeah.
Oh, here's Draco Malfoy for one of the 2 scenes that he's in this entire movie.
Looking very dapper, though.
Yeah.
Did you notice they don't spend a lot of time in their wizard robes in this movie? They're only in them like a couple of times in the whole film.
Yeah, I think we mentioned like a movie or two ago that progressively, as the movies, go on, they're in their robes less and less, and they just put them in regular.
I don't think they liked
Clothes.
those things as costumes. Like, I don't think the actors enjoyed wearing that stuff.
Yeah, well, I guess the costume designer probably doesn't like just putting everyone in the same stupid things all the time either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stripes going on in this movie.
I want to know more about Neville's cactus.
Is that his pet? Like how, what's his name had the rat and Harry's got an owl and what's her name has a cat and Neville has a cactus?
I don't remember anything about a cactus in the book. I think that was some random
prop.
last minute proposition.
Like that he's carrying it around and like hugging it to his body too. I feel like every time he does it, I'm like, don't do that.
It's like it's too good of a prop though. I want there to be a line about it or something,
Like there's
hey,
like
Neville,
multiple
nice
lines
cactus.
about how Luna wants pudding.
yeah.
Which is like so weird. Like, why? Why did you just talk about pudding
That's
twice?
all set up. 3 movies from now, she gets dropped into a vat of pudding and she eats the whole thing. It's great.
I find Luna charming. I don't know if it's
Yeah, that's your type.
yeah, okay.
It's like the weirdo who's
She's reading a book upside down.
I just noticed. Yeah. Are they saying with these? So Harry can see these demon horse things called thestrals, and basically because he's been like touched by death or whatever. Are they implying here that like anytime there's something in the magical world that just like floats on its own, like a flying car or a flying carriage, for instance, or whatever, that it's always being pulled by something?
some invisible slave animal.
Yeah, right.
I think it's
Or is it just this horse
I don't think it's
carriage?
always. No, I don't think it's just the carriage, but I don't think it's everything.
The brooms. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
slave bats that have to have all the brooms around.
Slave bats.
Invisible slaves. The true story of Harry Potter.
We already talked about the house.
Who's
elves.
holding those candles up? Obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think the candles, like you can make a candle float with just regular magic, but like, a full carriage, you might need a special kind of magic that it requires some sort of
Look at her in her
invisible
pink
animal.
outfit.
Who is this actress?
Imelda Staunton.
What do I know her from anything else?
She might have to be our top 4, so maybe I shouldn't say.
Oh, you might have to say because I don't know if I could name any other movie.
There's no way I can do a top 4 with.
Well, her first 3 are easy. The one after that's
it's 3 of these
impossible.
movies. Okay.
no.
You're gonna have to do Helena Bonham Carter. I thought for
Oh
sure.
yeah, that's a
was-
good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was in a movie called Vera Drake, which I think she got an Oscar nomination for. I could be wrong about that.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I have not seen that movie.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It's a Mike Leigh movie, who is also does a lot of movies with Timothy Spall and a lot of the other actors in this. So.
Matt hasn't seen The Scout with
she-
Albert Brooks.
she was also Gwyneth Paltrow's nurse in Shakespeare in Love.
Ooh,
I think
nice.
those would be. The
I have
big
seen that.
ones.
I've actually never seen Shakespeare in Love. I loved Saving Private Ryan so much when it came out that I refused to see Shakespeare in Love that year, and I have never seen it since.
I was one of the people who that year was
What
like,
do they have to do with one another?
They were neck and neck for Best Picture at the Oscars, and somehow Shakespeare in Love won. They say it's because of Harvey Weinstein's
I liked Shakespeare in Love better. I was one of the people who were like, this made more sense. Saving Private Ryan was one great 20-minute scene, and then kind of a cheesy Shakespeare war movie.
Wrong. It's a
Or
beautiful,
cheesy
beautiful thematic, lovely piece.
I can see that a little more clearly now, but in the moment, I definitely thought Shakespeare in Love was a better movie.
I mean, I prefer Saving Public Ryan, and I also prefer Shakespeare in Hate.
I've never heard someone vouch for Shakespeare in Love over Saving Private Ryan before. Harris, this is the first.
You heard the Academy do it.
Well, I don't know.
Did I, though? I don't know. I feel like something was rigged.
No, I feel like if you like Shakespeare and you like Tom Stoppard, that kind of was the movie that was giving you all the things that you like.
My boy Stoppard.
Yeah, if you can't watch movies with blood in them, then like you for sure are gonna like Shakespeare in Love more.
I think I was a Life is Beautiful stan. I was trying to remember because I'm like, it wasn't Shakespeare in Love or.
I didn't see Life is Beautiful
Ryan.
until years later, but we stand a legend.
I know that the Oscars is competitive, but I don't see it as competitive on that level. I'm not gonna, no matter how much I favor.
I'm gonna Tom Stoppard you right now.
Here's this Irish kid giving him shit.
Oh, yeah,
what did we decide this kid's name was? Seamus.
Right?
Seamus
Seamus.
McGillicuddy.
Me mother says you're a liar.
You talking about me mother?
I also thought that was hilarious when he was like, "Oh, my mom says that she believes you now, so we're cool." I was like, "Why are you listening to your mom so much?"
Yeah.
Because he's a real mama's boy.
Yeah.
This guy should have like known specifically about leprechaun magic. I mean, is that too on the nose or?
You just offended all our Irish.
Shut up or I'll throw a potato at you.
That was way more offensive.
I can say that. I'm Irish.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I mean, I'm not. I'm American, but
Apologies to Ireland.
They're always trying to get me Lucky Charms.
See, the problem is I can't do the, like, anytime I try to do the Irish accent, I always go up at the end of every sentence. Like, we got to find the leprechaun.
I always ends up kind of Jamaican.
Got to steal his Lucky Charms.
yeah.
Isn't there like an Irish Jamaican similarity?
They're closer than you
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Bye.
You can't steal the Irish gold. You
No.
can't.
As much as I don't want to, I feel like we need to do the plot because we've already jumped around so much.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, good idea.
Kind of defeats the purpose, but
You were almost already on top 4, which is
I know, yeah.
All right.
that's way out of order.
Matt, are you ready?
That's not the Order of the Phoenix, if you know what I mean.
All right, Matt, go.
All right, there's a lot that happens in this movie. We start out, Harry's on a playground, and Dudley is giving him shit. They get attacked by Dementors, but Harry uses the Patronus charm and saves them. Turns out that's illegal. He gets expelled from school, but then there's like a whole trial, and Dumbledore comes to the rescue and vouches for Harry because he defended his own life, and thus it is okay. But the Ministry is interested in what's going on here, and so they send Dolores Umbridge to be the defense against the dark arts teacher at Hogwarts. But she's really the eyes and ears of the Ministry, making sure shit doesn't go south. Turns out she's a crazy bitch, and she strips everyone of like the right to do anything that is good or fun. And she's changing the face of the school to be like, I don't know, like all work and no play. They're studying for the Owls, which is basically the SATs. But Harry ends up teaching a class in secret because Umbridge, like I mentioned, won't actually teach them anything. So Harry kind of becomes the defense of the dark arts teacher, and he teaches everyone how to do a bunch of charms and spells and whatnot. There's so much more that happens. Dumbledore won't talk to Harry. He doesn't know why. There's a secret organization led by Dumbledore called the Order of the Phoenix, and it's basically like Dumbledore's secret army to fight Voldemort. Harry is saying that Voldemort has returned, but no one seems to believe him, except his friends, who he won't let in. And finally, at the end, they trick what's her name, Umbridge, and she gets taken away by a giant, which is weird. And they go to the Ministry, and Voldemort appears, and the truth is revealed, and everybody fights, and Fudge sees Voldemort, and he says, "Oh yeah, I'm a fucking moron," and Voldemort has been back this whole time. Boom.
I thought that when he said "I'm a fucking moron," I was like, "Wow, that F-bomb really came out of nowhere in this movie." You know, like they saved it for the right moment, I think.
Yeah,
but
I
feel like how he slaps his palm to his forehead and says, "Oh, I'm a fucking moron.
I'm a moron.
I'm a fucking moron, Harry.
I'm a fucking moron."
No, I thought that was actually pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of details there, but not as important ones. A lot of the intrigue and the back and forth between him trying to figure out what Voldemort's up to.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. All of which escapes me at this moment.
Is it appropriate at this time to open up the who is better, Dumbledore or Gandalf debate? Because it's Gandalf, right?
Well, I think first you'd have to figure out.
Here?
Like, I mean, we could measure their various accomplishments. Gandalf did all sorts of stuff. Dumbledore, so far in this series, has done almost
a few
nothing.
things.
Almost nothing.
Yeah.
Gandalf dies in the first movie, but then returns.
Yeah.
In the next movie as a slightly different colored version of himself, right?
Yeah, Dumbledore dies after the second movie off camera and comes back as a very different version of himself.
I like where you went.
Oh, that's not the same. That's not Dumbledore. That was the actor who plays Dumbledore.
Sir Richard Harris.
Yeah.
I feel like Dumbledore's strengths, in a way, are less of his magic and like the magnitude of the things he's done, and more about the relationship that he has with Harry and like what he serves for him as like a, role model and support.
Fair, but all the people in the Lord of the Rings fucking love hanging out with Gandalf.
That's true.
He smokes weed.
Yeah. He does. He's high like all the time. I think the thing that I don't really understand is that Harry's got so much inherent respect for Dumbledore, and yet you don't see a lot of why in these movies so far. Like in this one, I mean, Dumbledore is as active in this one as he is in like the other four put together, really.
But Harry doesn't have parents, so he's
been living in a freaking closet, and like Dumbledore
well,
helps.
Exactly. That's why I kind of feel like we see it from Harry's perspective of like his attachment to Dumbledore and his respect for Dumbledore and everything. And it makes sense to us because we are in Harry's point of view. But if you step outside and think about it, this is an orphan boy who has a miserable life, who's whisked away to the wizarding school where he develops like sort of a boy crush on the most important guy there. And that guy kind of doesn't deserve it for most of the time. And, I don't know. It's very strange. Yeah, and I think that, like, for a guy who seems to know everything, too, like, Dumbledore is always, like, the movie sort of portrays him as being one step ahead, and yet he seems woefully unprepared for so many of these things. And, I get, like, narratively, Harry's got to save the day most of the time, but it is frustrating that you sort of, they're trying to have it both ways, where Dumbledore is this all-seeing, super powerful, competent wizard, but also he can't avoid leaving Harry hanging on his own in almost every movie.
Something I've noticed, I do think they are trying to work into the story that Dumbledore is getting very old, and like his time, like his clock's running. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I believe this culminates pretty soon.
Yeah. There may be a reason they're trying to tell us that.
In the next movie, there's a scene where Harry finds him wandering around at 2 a.m. in his underwear, and he's like, "Where's my wand? I've lost my wand."
Beverly, is that you?
Beverly?
Beverly's been dead for 40 years.
Albus, come back to bed. I'll tuck you in. You're having the night terrors. He's a sundowner now. Gets a little daffy later in the evenings.
Yep.
Thank God he couldn't find his wand. We've had to take it away from him. If he gets it, he casts the craziest spells at night.
Are you going back into the Irish accent?
A little bit, yeah. I'm just Seamus. Seamus is his caretaker.
Seamus dressed up as Beverly.
Beverly.
Exactly. It's the only way he'll respect Seamus's orders. Beverly, there you are.
My mom told me to dress this way.
Is Matlock on?
It's Matlock. Wizard Matlock must be the shit.
You know it.
So stupid. What, Wizard Matlock? You wouldn't watch that?
Is Hermione wearing suspenders right now? I don't think it is. I think it's something.
It's a hoodie, and those are the little drawstrings.
But like, if she had like hipster suspenders on right now, come on, that'd look good. That's a good look for her.
She's like starting to become an adult, and it's
maybe that's why they're having the horizontal stripes. Is they're too skinny. They were like alarming.
They're
Rupert
really
Grint
skinny.
And Emma Watson came in like horrifyingly thin, and they were like, horizontal stripes all day for these two.
Maybe that's what the whole pudding thing is about. Like,
They kept on trying to force pudding on everyone.
They just create this character of Luna Lovegood to like constantly talk about pudding to like hopefully influence the other actors in the movie.
yeah, absolutely. Wait, you wouldn't do that? If you wouldn't do that as a director, you don't care about filmmaking.
They're just shaking protein powder into their pudding every day. Everyone eat your pudding.
Like they yell cut and like that's lunch and everyone walks away. And then Emma Watson just leans over to Rupert Grint. She's like, I could kind of go for some pudding right now.
You know, not to like go back all the way to the cactus thing, but I do feel like it, without there being any like reasoning behind it, it was just a way to like remind us these are the outcasts at the school, the weird guy with the cactus, and like this new girl who's like a total weirdo, and they're the friends of Harry and Hermione and Ron because that's their crew, and like just like you as an audience member, like the weirdo watching, it's like, oh, I would be a friend of Harry and Ron and Hermione's too, because I'm.
But as I pointed out last episode, which you weren't here for, Daniel, but I made the point. I'll make it again. Harry Potter is like a child actor in this world. He is like a star. Everyone in the world, he's the most famous boy in the wizard world. He would be the biggest dick, and he would be hanging out with the cool kids. Everyone would be vying to be his friend. It wouldn't be like Harry and the Outcasts. It would be like all the cool kids would be like, Harry, hey, sit at our lunch table.
Totally, you're right. And in a way, it's like on different episode movies, right? His celebrity does change, right? Mm-hmm. There's points when people he's really celebrated, and points when they really don't like him. And I feel like this, even more so, is like a movie where he's really an outcast.
Yeah, this is a valid.
But it also reminds what you were saying reminds me of another point in this movie about his dad. When you have the flashback with Snape,
let's talk about that.
And you actually get the sense of like everyone always like puts his dad on a pedestal as being this great guy, but actually
kind of a dick sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that scene. I thought that was really good, and I thought that was really good too because you know that like we've been told that Snape's a good guy. We've been told that he's on Dumbledore's side. Dumbledore clearly trusts him, and he saved Harry and his friends multiple times, and yet he clearly doesn't like Harry. And you're kind of like, what is with this dude? And then you see that flashback and you're like, oh yeah, I would hate Harry too. I'd be like, fuck you. I'll save you because it's my job, but I don't have to like you. Your dad was a dick. I don't like the Potters. And
there's even more to it than that.
Well,
I just remembered as you were speaking, I remembered exactly what. Yeah, there's a girl involved.
But I would hope so. I would hope there's more to it than that because they have that. This is another like kind of loose end that's in there where they have this flashback scene where Harry gets, and it's also great because like Harry puts his parents up on the pedal. Like Harry puts all of these. For some reason, he's suspicious of Snape, but you know, Hagrid and Dumbledore and his parents and all these other people are
Sirius Black. The way he like regards Sirius Black, the way even like in the performance, it's like if Sirius Black is in the scene, like. It's all Harry Potter is like a different
to him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's got like this reverence for all these people, and it's nice to see him get disillusioned. But then we don't really get we don't even get a commentary on that. Snape kicks him out of the office as your lesson is concluded.
Yeah, it's one of those longer.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think this movie is full of those. I don't know if the book elaborated on them more because it's obviously they are always cutting B stories and to fit it into the movie. But I assume that a lot of these things will be picked up later.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty safe to assume. Would you like to know more about that? Because I watched ahead.
Because we pretend like we don't. We pretend like we don't. Well, because normally we don't watch ahead, but pretend like we don't.
No, I couldn't help it. You know, these movies are made to just like be on, and like keep going.
I have I always watch these movies like at the end of the day. And then if I'm not like tired, I'll put on the next one and like fall asleep in the first half hour or so.
Yeah.
It is pretty easy to binge these a little bit. If they weren't so goddamn long, it would be easy to watch more than one at a time.
It's once you get in, it's hard to remember where the beginnings and ends are. You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
like they do punctuate really well at the end of each movie to where it's like, okay, Voldemort is back in this one. But like in general, while you're watching these movies, it feels like all just one thing.
I mean,
You know what I
Umbridge
mean?
has pretty sharp outfits, though. They're,
Yeah.
they're
I mean, no
think
one's
it's a good
saying
look.
anything about her style.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
her clothing style.
Definitely a good look.
She's like she's a like there was this thing in like the Jim Crow South called the Daughters of the Confederacy. That's what she reminds me of. That's what I think she's like.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Like just putting up statues to her beloved past,
Yeah, because she's like
getting back to better
well,
times.
she's posing as like a fine lady who likes, like lady things, but like deep down, like one of the core tenets is obviously that she has like extreme prejudice.
Yeah,
you know
very
what I mean?
nefarious.
Yeah, but it is very in line with like what you see in like religious zealots, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
in like across the world. But
Yep.
so I feel like she's not pretending to be that way. That's like who she is. She's like a prim and proper, you
Right.
know, like
Right.
lady.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's not. Yeah, it's not pretending per se, but it's like these are things that you could associate with like not having any kind of underlying bad motives or like prejudice. It's like, oh, she like like the cats thing. It's like, oh, she just wants to like love cats because she always wants to like love other creatures and other things and like put that out into the world. But it's really like also has to do with her own self-image of her being like, I am this, and that is inherently better than some other things. You know what I mean?
Although she is cutting the dead weight of Emma Thompson's psychic tea leaf teacher, which I approve of. I feel like it's a useless teacher. She's done nothing so far.
As much as like
Seems like a fraud.
as much as she may not be teaching them anything, Hogwarts needs her.
I mean, somebody's got to stay in that room that she's been
Exactly.
in for 20
Like-
years.
Wait, what did she prophecy about Umbridge? I forget.
She said
You're in
grave
danger.
danger,
You're in grave
yeah.
danger.
Yeah.
Which is true. I think it would
They
be cooler if she was like a little more suspicious,
Yeah.
like a little like specific. I mean, like if she was like, watch
Yeah.
out for centaurs.
It would have packed a better punch if it was that.
Yeah.
Watch out for giants.
I feel like that they lost their chance to have something.
Yeah.
I'd say
Was
that
she wasn't dragged. Was she dragged away by the giant? I thought she was dragged away by the centaurs.
She was, but the giant also like picks her up and
yeah.
Oh yeah, she was picked up by the giant, dragged away by the centaurs. And in mythology,
she's torn apart. By the centaur.
Well, centaurs are notorious rapists in mythology. Like that's
That's the thought that went through my head when they were like.
which when they
carrying
dragged her away, I
off.
was like, ooh,
yeah.
this is not going to go well for her. I don't know if I don't like her, but I don't know if she deserves to be dragged off by a band of horny centaurs.
Well,
dirty centaur.
She's
It
into
must be
torture.
clarified in
That's
the
her
books.
whole thing.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys like
or
that
the, or
centaur
the fan,
sketch?
the
Did you
fan,
like
the
that?
fan.
Yeah, the dirty centaur.
dirty. We don't hire dirty centaurs.
Yeah, no. Emma Thompson's character is great. Like every school needs some teachers that are glorified babysitters. Because some kids they need a flexible environment to allow themselves to
You
learn.
going somewhere with this, Colin?
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like waiting for you to work yourself way around to a pun of some kind, but it was just a random dead end. It's a little case of bird walking,
This
as
happens.
they say,
These things happen to all of us, really.
where we just talk for extended sentences without actually knowing what we're saying. Yeah, I guess.
Yes, it does. I do think this is Umbridge's best outfit. The scene where Dumbledore confronts her and says, "You can't fire anyone. You can only you can't."
You can fire them, but you can't banish them.
Yeah, you can't banish anyone. You can fire them, but you can't banish them.
I would say I like when she wears a hat. She has like a couple little pillbox hats and stuff. But
True.
I think you're right in terms of just the outfit. This is the best one.
While we're talking about people's style of dress, I really like that through all the movies, McGonagall's look is like classic Halloween witch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, with the witch hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Dumbledore is consistent with wearing pajamas. As
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah, he looks really comfortable.
He's always in his bathrobe.
I saw the trailer today for the new Adam Sandler movie, Hustle. And throughout the whole thing, I'm just watching it and I'm like, Adam Sandler seems really comfortable in this movie. He's just wearing like
Was he wearing basketball
sweats
shorts?
and basketball shorts.
I
Yeah.
think that's what he wears, like probably
In life.
99% of his life.
Yeah.
So he probably just was like, "Hey, is this a movie where I can just wear my basketball shorts all the time?" They had me in a suit and a leather jacket in the Uncut Gems thing. I'm not doing that shit again.
Here we are at the Sirius Black in the fire scene, much like the last movie.
Although not as good. They just superimposed his face over the fire rather than having the talking embers, which I thought was cool in the last movie.
Talking embers is better.
Talking embers is cool, but it looks a little cheesy. Whereas this looks like easier, like they did it in like
definitely
After
easier.
Effects.
They did
That's
this
a
in
missed
After Effects,
opportunity.
yeah.
That's a huge missed
Yeah.
opportunity. They could. The talking embers was cool,
Yeah,
and they
and-
had an opportunity to make it look better.
Throw out the lack of consistency, which is a little disturbing. Like, what world is this? But also, just the talking embers were dope.
Yeah.
It was very well done. Because it looked like him, too. It was like
Yeah.
they had the little mustache. And
Yeah, I can understand if these movies were like maybe 3 or 4 movies apart and they like chose to do it a different way. But this is literally the next movie where they just did this effect in the previous one and they chose to do it differently. It almost makes me wonder if like they were in post on the third movie when like they were in pre-production for this or something. You know, like that kind. They made these movies so fast.
yeah. I
Maybe
don't
there
know.
was no communication between departments or something.
This also seems like the thing that it's like a decision made by one person who's higher up. Is like I didn't like the way it looked in that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, or
Fix it. You know,
it
and,
could
like,
be
they're
just like,
okay.
we got all those flying horses. That's going to take forever. We can't
Yeah.
do that, and we don't have time to do that.
It
and
costs
the fire.
less to do it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a different
Or
director.
it might even
too.
not even be for a movie like this. It might not even be about the cost. It might be about the time. Like, just we don't have enough. You know, this is full of VFX.
Yeah.
So
Almost, yeah. There's like
every
thousands
shot
of
is like
VFX.
VFX. I mean, most of these, I think, I don't know how many sets they build, but it looks like a lot of these backgrounds are probably VFX too. Like, especially like in the Ministry when they go get the
That's a miniature.
prophecy. Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, all
I
that.
feel like all that's just fake backgrounds.
The actual sets and miniatures that they build are really cool though. Like the set of Sirius Black's house is pretty cool. Like how tall it seems. Like
I think a big thing that like helps these movies like be as classic as they are is the filmmaking. You know, it's not like these movies are for as fast as they are cranked out. Literally, they each one like takes the time to really, you know, showcase the filmmaking techniques. You know, like they have cool camera angles and like the lighting and the, you know, the we've talked about the sets and stuff. Like they really do a good job of like trying to make each movie unique, but also all the movies cohesive in a way that is like really masterfully done, you know? Whereas like there are other movie series that if they made them this fast, they might just like
Fuck it, it's for kids.
Yeah.
It's like why should we kill ourselves getting great production design and incredible costumes for this kids movie? They are not going to appreciate Umbridge's sick threads.
And I think there are so many movies that came out after these that tried to emulate them that are that, you know? Yeah.
Like Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, or whatever.
Probably.
oh,
I've
Percy
never seen
Jackson.
it.
and
I never
yeah.
saw it, but I just assume that is probably not crafted with the care that this was.
True. I have a question coming back to like where we're at with our little watch along here. How offensive is it to call someone a toss pot? Is that how mean is that?
Well, have you ever had your pot tossed?
What does that mean?
Because I mean, I don't know if it's offensive at all. I like Hermione's jacket here.
Is it? Yeah. Is it a British thing? Because like tosser, to call someone a tosser, is that similar?
Right. Is that the more formal version of a tosser? Or is that better or worse? Like
Tosser of pots.
If someone calls me a toss pot and someone calls me a tosser, like which
who should
one
I be more offended by?
Yeah.
Which guy should I punch first?
I wish we knew a British person to like have on this show and answer these questions for us.
Is tosser and toss pot the equivalent of like motherfucker and mofo? Or because mofo is almost so washed like that mofo is almost not even offensive, you know?
Right.
Using the power of Google,
Okay.
I will answer this. A toss pot, derogatory, informal, a stupid or obnoxious person. Archaic, a heavy drinker. So so way back when you would call somebody a toss pot if they were a drunk,
That
and
makes
then
sense.
it just became
This
after dope.
At some point they realized everyone in the United Kingdom is a heavy drinker.
They're like, this is not impacting people though. You got to make it clear that he's a heavy drinker who is also obnoxious. That drunk guy took it too far.
A big upgrade for this movie is Harry's haircut.
Oh, their hair was so bad in the last one. They're all like, Ron's still a little shaggy, but it still looks better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually.
There's something about the way that scene was shot, where they're like getting together and like they're wearing like the winter jackets. I don't know much about like British history, but there is something also like with like the politics of it all and like the conservatism and then like the way they're acting. It almost seemed like a union thing where they're like coming together, like signing this paper.
Yeah, they're in like what looks like a pub kind of.
Right, exactly. I don't know if there's like more parallel there than I would know just historically.
Labour's getting ready to take on the Tories or whoever
something.
it is. Another thing that they do not, that's in this movie and goes unmentioned, is that one of the Weasleys is the fucking guy who's with the bad guys at the Ministry and who's like fucking them over. And they never even comment on it. They're not even like bro, what?
I forgot about that, yeah.
They must mention that in the book.
They definitely do.
Because
he was in the earlier movies. He was always like the hall monitor and shit.
Yeah.
And now he's a total like, yes man for fudge.
Oh yeah. But what's his name?
Asshole
Weasley.
Because there's another
Tosser.
Tosspot Weasley.
Tosspot Weasley. There's another Weasley who we haven't even seen yet, who we get to see later, right?
Yeah, he's been in like Africa the whole time or something. Yeah. Played by Domhnall Gleeson.
Like
that makes sense for a Weasley too.
Yeah.
The Weasley parents must like.
Does he have any scenes with his dad where he's got to act like they're not related?
Probably. I can't remember.
The Weasley parents must have a really good social life. Yeah, with each other.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
They explain Neville's backstory a little bit here. I think we discussed in the last episode that there's like more to the Neville story that we're not getting. I didn't realize that we eventually do get it. I thought it was just something that got omitted from the books.
Yeah, Neville's kind of an important character. He's kind of like the next most important of the children characters to the big three, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, he's been the most present in these films in terms of just always being around. So they clearly knew that he was going to be a more and more prominent character, because even in the first movie, when he's only got a couple of lines, they still sort of single him out for certain moments.
Well, he's like the dweeb. He's like
he's a better representation of what we were talking about, of like the children reading this, or like the young people reading this, being able to identify an outcast character and like identify with that and stuff like that. He's like the most kind of clear-cut representation from start to finish of he's even more bullied than Harry Potter. He's even more weird than Harry Potter. He has even like less friends,
He's klutzy.
Yeah, he's klutzy. He's a little too big. He's got a dump truck butt. He carries a cactus around everywhere.
Dump truck butt. What was that in the movie?
I'm just
saying. What are you referencing?
I'm just referencing what I am seeing.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if I was going to be like Neville, here's the problems. Here's what we're going to do here's what we're going to do to make you over so you could be prom king. If this was that movie, I would be like, we got to do something about the dump truck butt.
What do you do about a dump
squats?
truck?
You got to do some upper body at the gym. Less squats, more upper body. One thing I could say is I don't think Neville ever skips leg days, and this is the thing. I mean, good for him, but
you can't
still,
skip leg day.
Yeah, but still, he's a little overdeveloped.
Well, I mean, it is a long bottom.
Yeah.
What's his last name?
Yeah, I got that.
Dump truck butt. That was an alternate name.
That's his cousin. Percy Dump Truck Butt.
Our family name was originally Dump Truck Butt, but we changed it.
Used to be Shit House.
It used to be Shit House.
Why did Ron think that he was going to be better at anything than Hermione when they go to duel? He's like, I'll go easy on you. And it's like, Ron, come on, buddy.
No way.
It's like she has you outclassed at every step.
It's just basic sexism. Like he just thinks he's like a man, so he'll be able to do it.
That's one of my favorite shots of like the girls laughing with Hermione.
Like Ron's so stupid.
Yeah.
Ron's so stupid.
That's actually Emma Watson's only convincing fake laugh in this entire series. She has another terrible fake laugh in this movie.
She does?
Did you guys catch it?
No, I didn't catch it.
There's that moment where they're sitting around the fire and she says something about like everything's changing and and then she like scolds Ron about something and then just breaks out in a fake laugh that like gets them laughing. But it's like she has to start the fake laugh to get them laughing, and
They probably had to do 40
it's
takes
awful.
of it.
It's
yeah.
awful. Not as bad as the one she had in the other movie, but it's still pretty bad.
I don't think she's nearly as bad of an actress as you seem to think she is. Not that she's like the greatest actress I've ever seen.
I don't know. She might be. I mean, she hasn't been good in these movies so far. This is by far her best one. It's not like she's not improving, but with Daniel Radcliffe sort of getting out of the worst actor in the movie territory.
It must be a really difficult task to cast children in a movie, knowing that they have to be in 7 more movies.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like I think they really lucked out, and maybe it's not luck. Maybe whoever did the casting.
Oh God, I hate
that was gross. Yeah.
Well, you know, I do want to watch that reunion they did recent this past year, because I think they do talk to casting people about like what went into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that would be
like
interesting.
there's so much risk. I mean, I guess at the end of the day you can swap them out if you really have to, like with Dumbledore, but
Yeah.
you don't want to do that.
They never did swap out any of the kids though.
No.
Nope.
They all stick with it.
Except there's later they will do one, I think, because like I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the ones after this, so I won't.
I don't know.
Yeah, nice recovery. Yeah, no, I think they did get lucky with these because as much as I've criticized Emma Watson and what's his name, Daniel Radcliffe, for child actors, they haven't been bad. They've just been.
At what point as a filmmaker does that like mean that you have to like profile these kids' parents really bad? You know what I mean? Like, because you have to figure out if they're the kind of parents who are like gonna like once these kids become stars, like just ruin the kids or ruin the whole dynamic or something, you know, like
I do think that goes into it. I've like usually when I've heard stories about casting kids, it's
You're
always
casting
like,
the parents too.
Yeah, it's always like, we
they're
really
gonna be
got a good
involved.
vibe from this family. They were really down to earth, and it just seemed like they were like had their shit together, and they weren't like trying to make their kids into stars. You know, like that's a big one. Is if the parents really want it, I think that's a red flag. For
Yeah, because ultimately they're going to want to renegotiate for every movie and stuff.
and they're also going to be influencing the performance of like what the kid does, like, you know, and the director has to be the main person doing that.
Yeah, because if they're looking at their kid as like, hey, this could be our ticket, you know.
Yeah, don't listen to the director. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He just
Listen to me. I'm your father. Look at me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of obvious to me though, like, you know, Daniel Radcliffe and the other guy,
Rupert Grint,
like, you know, they're goofy looking, you know, like whatever. But like Emma Watson is like clearly like a star, you know, she's going to have a career after these movies. Like it's obvious she's beautiful. Like, do you think like that's weird? How do you like cast an 11-year-old or whatever? And like,
I don't think that. I mean, obviously, you know, they're gonna like. Well, no, you're right because I remember like.
Can you look at a 10-year-old and know what they're gonna look like when they're 18? Or like,
well, I think that's another thing where you look at the parents. You know, a little bit is like, like
or older
her mom's
siblings,
probably hot. Yeah,
her mom probably is hot. Yeah.
But I think there is like because it's true. I know lots of people who were really cute kids, and then puberty came, and it's just like all you know. Not that they didn't.
They got long bottomed.
Yeah, they got a little long. They got a little long bottomed. Speaking of which, Neville actually turned into kind of a handsome guy. You know, like oddly enough. But you know, when he grew into the body and the tank.
There's they must have had some expectations to know that these kids are going to change, probably for the worse. You know, like most of them. But yeah, I mean, kudos to them. I think they did a pretty good job overall. None of the kids are really like who's really, if there is one, like a standout like dunce, like one that just doesn't work. This guy, him too.
Oh,
yeah, Pattinson.
I have a story. I have a story I have to tell though about this actually. When I was a child and reading Harry Potter, and I found out they were going to make the movies. I saw the casting notices because I was the actor at that point, and I wanted to be Draco Malfoy so bad.
I can see it.
Specifically Malfoy.
Yes, and I was so sad because I found out they were only going to cast British actors.
Not even fair.
And
you couldn't fake it.
I quit acting.
Working on your accent. Yeah, you should. But not only would he have to fake it, again, his parents would have to be like, "Yes, we're all British."
You've even got a British sounding last name. You could have faked it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, of the Leeds.
Yeah.
What a Nargles.
What are Nargles?
Well,
wait, is this the first kiss?
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Here we go.
I remember this now.
Yeah.
How could you forget?
We were talking about it in the car. He's like, yeah, Harry has his first kiss. I'm like, what? I
Yeah.
don't remember that.
And Hermione's like,
Just like-
I'm sure you were great.
Just like nibbling over and over again, no tongue.
Also, Cedric Diggory's picture is watching them while they do it.
Seriously. And he's like actively watching them because his pictures move.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of freaks me out. But hey, what about top 4? Maybe that's a thing we do now.
Okay, we will do Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena.
So, top 4, as Daniel knows, being a previous guest, is where we guess the actor or actress's 4 most notable roles according to IMDb, which could be anything, really. We are doing Helena Bonham Carter. Guest goes first. Daniel Leeds. What is one famous movie that Helena Bonham Carter is in?
Fight Club.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it.
Wow. That's what I was going to say.
Is that the top one?
It is not the top one. I mean, I don't know that they're in any specific order.
Okay.
Colin, you want to go?
I can't think of her character's name right now. Does that count?
Marla Leeds.
I know what I want to guess, and I know that it's wrong. Whatever. Ocean's 8.
That is wrong.
Wrong.
I don't even remember her being in that.
I know
what are the
she's in
8?
so much. I'm just
I have a
trying
couple.
hold on. I'm just trying to think of Johnny Depp movies. She's in like half of them. Before I say that though, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna do the same thing I did on the last episode and say Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
No.
Damn.
Wrong.
All right. I have to choose one of 2 guesses. Sweeney Todd?
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Oh, nice.
Excellent job.
So you should have gone with a Johnny Depp movie.
What's the Tim Burton one where she has a fake leg? What is that I'm thinking of?
I'm thinking of a Tim Burton one, too.
Does she have
I don't remember the
fake
fake leg.
There's one where she's got a fake leg. I'm sure of it. Whatever. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
No.
Wrong.
Damn. All right. Helena Bonham Carter.
What is that movie I'm thinking of?
She is in. I think she's in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Tim Burton one.
She might be.
She's not.
It's not
That's
in
not
top
top 4.
four, though.
Damn.
Oh,
Wrong.
no.
So I don't know if this is top 4, but Alice in Wonderland?
Oh, that's.
There's
no,
2 of those movies.
Not in the top 4. Neither one of them.
Oh, okay.
Wrong.
Okay.
Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Nope.
Wrong.
Well, yeah, I guess this is a hint round, so I'll give you a hint that it's not a fucking Harry Potter movie.
Oh shit. Oh wait, do I have to guess one more time before the hint comes, or can we just get the hint now?
I don't know if it's fair to everyone else to.
Yeah, all right. I'll guess one more. She is in something else. Gosh. Have we? Yeah, we've guessed all the Harry Potter movies that it could be, right?
Yes, and it's not a Harry Potter movie.
Okay, good.
Stop guessing Harry Potter movies.
What was the hint?
There was no hint yet. I can't think of any.
Oh, she was in Ocean's 8.
What are you?
But
you didn't believe me?
I thought you were wrong. You've been wrong before.
All right, wait.
I'm pretty sure I'm the
one.
only person in the room who's seen Ocean's 8 more than one time.
You might be one of the only people on the planet who's seen Ocean's 8.
It's not that bad.
All right, Dark Shadows. Is she in that?
I think she is, but that is not one of them. Okay, here's your
Wrong.
hint. These last 2 movies were both directed by the same director. He's a British director of great renown.
Oh, Guy Ritchie or whatever?
It's definitely Alfred Hitchcock.
Stop.
Wait, is that the guy? Is that the director's name? Is it my
Guy
guess?
Ritchie?
Guy Ritchie? Is that the name of the guy?
You're going to guess Guy Ritchie is one of her movies?
It's not the
That's,
name of the movie.
That is not the name of the movie.
Oh.
Besides, it's Daniel's turn.
It's Daniel's turn?
Yeah.
It is Daniel's turn.
I thought it
Daniel
was
goes
me.
Matt just went.
Yeah, it's Daniel, you, me.
Oh. I thought we were like this. That's not-
You thought wrong, you son of a bitch.
I did think wrong.
I'll give you an additional hint. Both of these movies, between these 2 movies, they won 7 total Oscars.
Holy
Whoa.
crap.
Shit.
3 for one, 4
That's
for
a
the
lot
other.
of Oscars.
They're both directed by the same guy,
Mhm.
British director. Let's think British directors, boys. Let's think. We got Guy Ritchie. We got
That's it. That's all your British directors. If only you guys knew Mike Lee.
I was gonna say Mike Lee. Yeah,
It's not him.
Winston Churchill.
I mean, she plays. It's
I
like
love
what
his
I'm
movies.
thinking is like she plays such distinctive characters.
Yeah.
That it's like it has to be like villain or like quirky, weird, like chaotic. Like I just don't know.
she's in some movie when she's like pretty early on in her career that I know is like a classic,
Like a
movie.
breakout
But
before Fight
I
Club?
can't think of. It's before Fight Club.
Yeah, I realized that like as soon as like we figure out what it is, we're all gonna like be kicking ourselves because we knew it.
yeah.
Right.
I can't even literally think of another movie that she's in.
I'm trying to think of. I'll think of another. Try to come up with another guess. I'm going to think of
I'm
another
working
clue that
on
I can
it.
give you.
Tell us the years that these movies came out. That might help.
Just guess Big
Okay.
Fish.
Was Big Fish the one where she had one leg? That might have been.
No, I don't think that's the one she had one leg.
2010 and 2012.
Oh shit!
Wow.
They didn't make movies then.
And
That
they were
was-
Oscar nominated.
That was
They were
like
Oscar
that was like
winners.
that was
They-
the
they
year we
won-
started. That was the year we started USC.
They won
Yeah.
4 total
I'm trying
Oscars.
to place myself. Like
the
what
only
was
movie from
nominated.
2012
Or
is
7
The
total
Dark Knight
Oscars
Rises.
between-
Oh, I know. Into the Woods.
No.
Fuck.
But weirdly kind of relevant in a weird way.
That's one.
All right. Well, it's your turn now.
It's my turn. Big Fish.
No, not Big Fish.
Wrong.
Sorry.
Idiot. All right, I'm trying to think of movies that were nominated back then. Obviously, these movies didn't win Best Picture.
I think one of them might have.
What?
I would have to look it up.
Are The King's Speech? No, she's not in that, is she?
Are you guessing that?
Yes.
You should guess that.
Then you got that right.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Who is she in that movie?
She's the queen.
I don't remember her at all.
Of England?
Yeah.
No, of dance.
Who directed that?
Oh, it's he's terrible.
Colin Firth.
That's the only movie of his that I like.
I was gonna say he's terrible. Well, he's only directed like 2 movies, or
And they
2 or
both
3,
and they
3
both were
movies.
nominated for an Oscar.
He did another movie that might be my next guess, so I'm not going to say what it is.
You have to say what it is. Whose turn is it?
Well, it's
Daniel's
mine,
turn
but
again.
now I know it's the director of the King's Speech other movie. That was probably another period
Tom
piece.
something. Tom
I guess I can give you the clue that it's Tom Hooper.
Hooper. That's it.
Tom
Okay,
Hooper.
so it was like a period piece.
And your Into the Woods guess, this is the movie that it's kind of semi-related to.
because of the actors in it.
Nope.
Oh.
Because of the
Because it also
genre.
takes place in the
Oh.
woods. Oh, it's a musical.
Oh, see, like yeah, she does so many musicals.
I know what it is.
Shit, me.
Sweeney Todd 2.
If I don't get the musical, I'm gonna be upset with
Even
myself.
Sweenier.
Yes, you will.
Damn.
If it's the movie I'm thinking of, it's a movie I saw and completely like
Yeah, I didn't care for it
did
either.
not
but
like. Yeah.
Les Miserables.
Well, oh yeah, Les Mis.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah.
Good job.
I'll
Colin.
take credit
Way to
for
help
that.
him win.
I don't remember who she even plays. in
Yeah,
that
she
movie.
plays Madame Thénardier.
Oh, sure.
You
Is
know,
that
like
is that the Russell Crowe part?
master of the house song. It's like the couple that are like
Yeah.
running the pub.
I commend Russell Crowe for doing that movie, but his singing doesn't totally work for me.
Yeah. All I remember is Anne Hathaway. She won the Academy Award for singing like the most famous song from that movie, right? I forget the song. I wanted to forget that whole movie.
Turbo Miserable, I believe is the name of the song.
Turbo Miserable. I'm going turbo miserable.
Good guess. Yeah, she was also in like a lot of those Merchant Ivory movies. Like she broke out with a room with a view, and
I'm gonna find out what the one where she has one.
Howard's End. That might have been the movie I was thinking of.
Wings of the Dove is probably. I think she won a bunch of awards for that. I don't know if she won an Oscar, but I think she was nominated for Wings of the Dove.
Man.
This is really dumb. This is like a total Colin thought that I have from time to time.
Did you have to say it was dumb?
it's very dumb. Near the Topanga Mall by my house, there's a appliance store called Howard's, and every time I get stuck at the light and I see Howard's right in front of me, I think to myself, "Man, I'd like to see Howard's End." It's so stupid.
I want to see that appliance store's butt, I guess.
Oh, I want to see it like burn or something.
That's how I interpreted it. Yeah.
I was thinking the butt.
The butt. The long bottom.
Yeah, the long bottom. I feel like this little this is the point where I knew that Sirius Black was doomed when he's like, "Don't worry, Harry. We're all gonna be. This will all be over soon, and we'll be a family and live happily ever after." I'm like, "Oh, you clearly don't know Harry Potter. It's not gonna work out well for you, buddy."
It's like in the last movie when Cedric Diggory like hugs his dad and he's like, "I'll definitely be seeing you again."
Nothing bad could happen to me now that I'm going into the haunted maze.
Have you seen how good looking I am? Nothing will happen.
Oh, despite the wild look, Bonham Carter says the crazier stuff is not pictured. Her brothel-owning Red Harrington packs an ornate ivory peg leg with a deadly surprise.
What
Can you
movie
guess
is
the
this?
movie? I know what it is. This is another one I've probably seen that you guys haven't.
Oh my god, is it one of the Pirates movies?
It does have Johnny Depp, and he is being Johnny Depp, but he's not being Jack Sparrow.
And it's from like from the 21st century.
I believe it's also made by Disney, and it stars a guy who got canceled.
Oh, Lone Ranger?
Yeah, the Lone
Oh
Ranger.
my god.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, so we got the infamous Johnny Depp in the midst of a defamation suit, the infamous cannibal, what's his name? Army Hammer.
And to go on another canceled tangent and to go back to our James Bond roots, did you hear who got canceled?
Yeah, Cary Fukunaga.
Yep, director of No Time to Die. Yep, there's like allegations that he is a groomer, but
apparently being creepy. You know it. I mean, I don't want to defend it because who the hell knows, whatever. But the report that I read was just like he's just kind of was creepy and definitely not very like it was more like a creepy asshole than
Well, the thing that I read was that he was grooming women, but then the debate was like, doesn't grooming only apply to children?
underage people. Yeah, exactly.
But apparently, these women who have the allegations against him were adults, like at the time of whatever. Yeah,
I don't think that's like. I mean, granted it's not a good look.
Yeah,
but I don't think grooming is the right term for that.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is.
That term's also confusing because, there's hairdressers. And
yeah,
stuff
you do have to, and every parent has to groom their children a little bit.
Sorry, that's not a good joke.
If you don't groom your children, they end up looking like Ron and Harry from the last movie.
Oh god,
or what Hagrid looks like every time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I agree that I feel like that's a weird. Like to accuse somebody of grooming, it's like you're a grown up. Don't be so impressed by a celebrity. I mean, not that it's not really like it is an abuse of power on his part, and it's not really, like I said, not a good look. Definitely think less of him.
It was something having to do with actresses, right? Like if you sleep with me, I'll give you a role.
They were like minor actresses that he was just like fawning over and then withholding attention from, and then like trying to coax them into or pressure them into stuff that they weren't comfortable with.
I like this scene.
Yeah, I was just gonna
this
say
moment when Azkaban.
We see Azkaban for the first time.
Yeah, where they escape.
Yeah,
and this shot is just cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
now that's how you fake laugh.
Yeah, that's a good fake laugh. She's acting at an 11 here in this entire movie. Like she has no scene where she's not turned it all the way up.
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like
she turns it up to 11 almost all the
star.
time, but it always works.
Yeah.
You buy her as a psycho, whatever she is.
I remembered her in a movie that was like really hard to remember.
What?
The Lone Ranger was a really hard movie to remember. It was like I did only see it once, and it was not super good. But as soon as we started trying to guess movies she was in, I was like, there's one where she has a fake leg.
Here's her classic Azkaban screaming at the photographer photo.
Nice.
Yeah, like why can't anybody ever be like kind of chill and be like, "Oh, you got me. Guess I'll do my time."
Wait, I wish I could go back. Did you see Neville's response to seeing her? It was such a good shot. Like his performance, he was just like he's looking at the article. He realizes she's out. He just puts it down. And he's like, he's like really like
I'm
this
ready.
moment of like, fuck.
Yeah.
The way Seamus is wearing his tie.
Right, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I believe you. Well, thanks a lot, Seamus. Believe me now when everyone fucking believes me.
Over at dinner, eating potato soup, my mother told me she believes you now.
She put down the whiskey bottle long enough to smack me in the head and say the prophet has a lot of crazy stories there. They criticized the Pope. The Pope. We're definitely going to get canceled by Ireland.
Yeah. We're like, for shame, Carrie Fukunaga. Oh, then my potatoes came out of my arse.
But I mean, that's how we talk. These are my people.
Oh my God. Yep. Well, you know.
Ireland isn't powerful enough to stop this podcast. You hear that, Ireland? Calling you out.
You're taunting the whole country
I'm taunting
now.
the entire country of Ireland. Bring it.
Oh my God.
Daniel, one thing we didn't ask you at the top of the show is like, I mean, obviously you're a fan of this series. It sounds like just from your base knowledge of it that you are quite fond of it. Like what's, and you talked about you wanted to be an actor in the movies. What's your sort of history with these? Like you read the books.
So actually I do have a story.
All right, go for it.
So when I was in middle school in 6th grade, my dad brought books home for maybe like Hanukkah presents for me and my sister. He gave me Harry Potter and her this witch book, and I like thought that the witch book looked a lot cooler than the Harry Potter book, and I like, you know, complained and basically switched books with my sister. And then they started reading the Harry Potter, and I like kind of like eavesdropped and realized it was like actually really good. And so I, you know, took it back and read the whole book and loved it. And then I told like my English teacher at school about it, because like nobody knew about it yet. And so she was like, "Oh, wow, this is really good." And then basically, long story short, J.K. Rowling was coming to town, literally, to read at like the private school in my town. I went to the big public school, and I guess they like offered to let some of us public school students come to like hear her speak, but only like a few.
The poor little foundlings.
Exactly. And so my English teacher was like, "Oh, Daniel, because you introduced the whole school to J.K. Rowling or to Harry Potter, why don't you come and you can like, you know, choose one other person to come with you." So like me and my best friend got to go and like, you know, hear the now, you know, canceled J.K. Rowling speak at the private school. And it was like amazing. And so, yeah, I've like been very obsessed with the books and like was definitely like either pre-ordering them. Like even that one I had was like the British version, you know, the first one I read. And then, yeah, like every time it came out, we'd like have our book pre-ordered. Our family at a certain point would have to get like more than one because we all wanted to read at the same time. So
you were like the perfect age for this. You were
yeah,
like
I really
right
was. I think so, because I was able to read by myself.
Because we've talked about how like if you're just a little off here,
it was actually perfect because I was like 6th grade, so like 3 years before high school.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like by the time I was in high school, it was really in line with which is more or less high school experience.
Right.
And then I just would, I basically got to the point when like a book would come out and I'd read it like that day. I remember I was traveling probably for like the 7th book or 8th book. Like I was traveling in Europe and I was in Berlin and I like went to the bookstore and I was like, I ordered it like that week. So I'm like, it's going to come out. And then I spent like the whole day, like, you know, on a train, like reading Harry Potter.
Daniel, when you were telling that story and you said how your dad brought some books home and it was like the discovery of Harry Potter, like I imagine your dad as like the dad from Gremlins, and he's at like a like an old Chinese, like behind a Chinese restaurant, like bookstore, and he's like looking for books and he's asking for help, and then he's like, "What about this one?" And the store owner's like, "No, you must not take this one.
Don't get water on it.
you actually don't get water on any of them. They're books.
Don't let the children read this after midnight. It will become a huge worldwide franchise."
He's like, "Hey, do you want to buy a smokeless ashtray?"
You know what I thought of?
So how did you meet J.K. Rowling, or did you just see her?
I want to know that.
She pointed at you in the
my
audience.
my memory was not. I don't remember meeting her. I mean, I was like in the same space with her, obviously, and I think I got like a signed book, but I don't remember.
Just remember her inspiring words that children, you can be anything you want to be, and you can do anything in the world except change your gender. You're stuck with that.
Yeah, there was a
the sky's the limit for everything else, though. Literally everything. I'm open-minded. Just.
But chopping off your ding dong? Yeah. No, that doesn't fly with me.
I don't think she says
your wanker? What do they call it?
That wasn't her controversial tweet.
I think the word they use in
Patronus?
over there is knob.
Knob?
Yeah.
Knob sounds about right.
Yeah.
Maybe your bullocks, too.
Your bollocks.
Knob and bullocks.
Your bell end. That's fine.
That's pretty good.
That's what they call it.
Your long bottom. Your front bottom.
Your front bottom. Oh my god. We've reached the silly portion of the show.
Also, the silly portion of the movie where what's his name is taking the haunted pictures off the walls and taking great pleasure in dumping over all the guys in this Rembrandt painting.
Yep.
I think the whole gag of him hanging up the proclamations throughout the movie is great.
Yeah, I like the last one that he hangs up where it's like every hit, the ladder teeters like about 5 feet away from the wall, and he's got to like go back and hit it.
It's great. They're really playing up the physical comedy of Filch.
It has that great culmination when they all fall down too.
Yeah,
Which is, I think we're getting pretty close to that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's during the exams.
Yeah, which I think is a couple scenes from now because they drop out of school because they're the perpetrators of the
so let's get to the twins.
Weasleys.
We always hate on the twins, and they kind of have a redeeming moment in this. They're not as annoying.
I don't always hate on the twins.
Colin specifically hates on them.
Yeah, Colin hates the twins more than anybody.
I think they're great.
He doesn't want to bring it up on the show because he's afraid the actors will find him in real life and not do anything to him.
Hey, we heard
Just
what
come
you were
and, like,
saying about Ireland.
Yeah, just come and sit him. He's afraid they're just
wasn't
gonna,
even me.
They're already
I love potatoes. Sorry.
He's afraid they're going to sit him down and be like, hey, I heard what you were saying about us and it hurt our feelings. And Colin can't have that. But he told us behind the scenes that he finds them the most annoying characters in the entire movie and that even their redemptive scene where they blow up what's-her-name's Umbridge's test wasn't enough to get him back on their side.
You never go against twins because as soon as you do, you're surrounded, you know?
I feel like in the last movie they like utilized this bridge.
It's true.
And they were like, this bridge is cool to shoot on. And then in this movie they just way overdid it. Like
Yeah, they're on the
every
bridge several
scene
times.
is on this bridge.
Hard disagree. Love the bridge.
Here's
Want
the
to see it in
stripes
every
again.
scene.
There's these
Stripes.
stripes,
Again,
and also
yeah.
like the framing with him over here, very separate.
Yeah. I'm kind of with Colin. I thought it was odd how many scenes they said on the bridge. I noticed. I was like, wow, they're getting a lot of mileage out of this. Although every time they did it, like in that scene in particular, I was like, man, this bridge is fucking cool though, right?
The bridge is my favorite set in all of these movies.
The bridge
It's
is
the
my
best.
favorite
It's the
set,
best.
character, and plot.
It might just be
100%
because of
agree.
all the mist and fog that they add, but like the bridge feels very CG heavy in this one to me, whereas in the last one it felt like a practical more. But
No, I'm in love with the bridge.
Somebody explained to me Hagrid's
Brother,
half-brother, the giant.
Yeah, Hagrid's
Are all giants...
Hagrid's
what's
half
the-
giant, which means
I know Hagrid's half giant, and I understand that his half brother is full giant. What I'm asking is, are all giants?
the mental capacity going on.
Yeah, are all giants mentally impaired in this way?
No.
Then what is the deal, and why is it not explained?
Why? I mean, I feel like over-explaining it would be rude.
I mean, is Hagrid the smartest guy we've ever encountered in this series?
I want to know which one was Hagrid's mom.
Hagrid's mom was a giant.
Okay.
He says it in the other movie. that
She
she's
had to be in order
pick
to
his
birth
dad up.
a giant,
Right? Like, it can't go the other way, can it?
Hagrid's mom was a normal woman who exploded giving birth.
I wasn't going to try to take it that far, but I was wondering.
Basically, like first trimester, that baby was out
Well,
of
she
Or
would
like
have
it's born
exploded
normal size and then grows very fast
during
or something?
conception. And
there.
Yeah,
exactly.
and also like, in conception,
So she
like
could handle that. His dad for a giant was not very well hung.
yeah, maybe there are some
Little,
giants
tiny,
like that,
yeah.
or like maybe all giants just. I don't know. I don't think we should like.
should we Google?
I don't think we should go too far down.
There
this
is a
road.
little question of even if his dad was normal and his mom was a giant, that's still a weird, like, how does that sex work, you know? And I'm really asking you guys, how do you think that sex works?
It's a
Does he get, like, his whole lower half of his body in there?
No, there's like a
or-
long snorkel and he goes all the way in.
It makes me
No,
think.
no, okay. All right. No, I buy that.
It makes me think of Futurama. Did you guys ever see that one where
Yeah, the snoo-snoo?
the Amazonian women? Yeah.
Death by snoo snoo.
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised.
I love that line.
Oh, so good. Anyways, yeah, this they set up this Deus Ex Machina of his half brother, who I just wish they had said, like, listen, he's got Down syndrome, and that's just like, you know, like that would be that. All I needed to know is, like, you know, he can't live on his own. But he does kind of live on his own. He says he's got plenty of food. He gets his own food. I just tether him to this tree. And leave him out
that's
here.
that's what I'm confused about. Is he just tethered to the tree for purposes of this meeting, and usually he's given like free reign of this part of the forest?
I don't. It seems insane. It seems like a really regressive way to treat the mentally handicapped.
Yeah, because also like if he's like catching his own food, that's a severe limitation. Sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah, he should have like at least a longer tether.
I feel like the way Hagrid just does anything is always questionable, right?
Yeah.
Like in all these movies.
Not
Kind
the
of
best
agree.
decision
Yeah,
maker.
I agree.
In the movie, I like these scenes where Snape's getting in his head and messing with him.
Oh, but wait, when did this start? I couldn't remember. Like, why does Harry start going to Snape?
Yeah, who tells him to
It's
go?
this movie.
No, but what moment?
It's. I think. Is it Dumbledore? I think it's Dumbledore says.
Yeah,
when he has the vision and they realize that he's seeing, because when he warns them that Mr. Weasley is attacked, and he says, "When you were seeing it, were you there? Were you here?"
And in
or
secret,
whatever?"
he tells Dumbledore, like, actually, I saw it from the perspective of like the person,
Yeah.
whatever.
And
And
Dumbledore's
Dumbledore's like, go to
talk
Snape.
to
I'm not
Snape?
supposed to be in
Yeah,
Oh.
no, he summons Snape, and Snape's like shows up, and he's like, "I'm going to instruct you how to,
Okay.
guard your mind against the."
Go to Snape. I'm not supposed to be in this movie. I'm trying to hide in my office. Get out of here.
I wasn't paid enough to be in this scene.
They only paid me for 3 days. They've got to shoot me out in 3. I'm out in 3. You hear me?
Out in 3 as he's dragged away by like random characters. It's like, what the hell?
That was the best take we had. I don't think it affects the story very much.
Snape wants to be the defense against the dark arts teacher, right?
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting reveal too.
Wait,
I love this part.
somebody told us that
I like
he
the young
knows
Snape,
that the
too.
position is cursed, though, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what he originally applied for.
Yeah.
Look at him there, like, nice job, James. Bully that guy. Yeah, you're such a good bully, James Potter.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about in movies whenever they show like the younger version of someone in a flashback and they have like either the same haircut or like glasses in this case, or like
Is that guy wearing a nose, or is that just a nose that looks similar to the nose that we're seeing?
I don't know. It might have been a piece. I'm not sure. But like for me, I kind of hate when they do that in movies because it's such a movie thing, as if we're not smart enough as an audience to say like, oh, they have brown hair when they're a kid, but like obviously that's supposed to be the same person. But yet in movies when they do that and they don't like give you some like physical thing for you to like understand, then it's like, wait, what?
He's wearing his Letterman jacket throughout his entire life.
Cartoon characters always wear the same clothes.
Right.
I think it's kind of funny when they have the same haircut. Like, oh yeah, I got this haircut when I was about 8 years old, and then I just rode with it.
You've
all
had the
the
same
way.
haircut for as long as I've known you.
Yeah,
I've only changed my hair once in my life, or no, twice in my life. So I've had two different haircuts for almost my entire life.
Yeah, I would say Matt's hair changes the most out of the three of us.
Yeah.
Daniel's hair has gone through. You've gone through like a short period and a longer
Yeah.
period, and
I would
yeah.
say so.
Well, like if James Potter showed up in a flashback with frosted tips and contacts, I wouldn't know who it was. I'd be like, oh, that's weird. And they'd have to be like, James Potter, Harry Potter's father. What are you doing? Why are you bullying Severus Snape, young Severus Snape, who has a mohawk and an eyebrow piercing in this?
Still listening to Eminem, I see. He's got like the bleach blonde hair.
He's got a one of the little chin goatees things.
Sure, this timeline doesn't sync up, but you understand.
Bum, 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 bum. So they play Lose Yourself or something.
He can hang out with Dudley Dursley.
Dudley.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. This is the
kind of beginning of the end.
fireworks scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were trying to say before that the brothers kind of have their redeeming moment here. They quit school, they drop out to start a fireworks company, or what is it?
This is a pretty dope outfit that she's wearing. It's kind of reminds me of those snowballs, you know, the
Oh, yeah,
Hostess
yeah.
snacks.
Yeah. The
Delicious.
fuzziness.
Yeah.
Again,
They're the most delicious fuzzy snacks in the world.
Again, it makes me think of a Simpsons episode where Homer thinks he's gay and he offers him like the, what is it? Like the What are those called? The little hostess, like brown ones.
Yeah.
I forget what they're called, but it's like those are the pink ones, and he's like,
what are the ones that zebra cakes? But then at Christmas time, zebra cakes are Christmas trees. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Those are Little Debbie though. That's not Hostess. Is Hostess and Little Debbie the same? They're not.
No,
right?
they're competitors, fierce competitors. If a diehard acolyte of either one of those companies heard you say that, they would be so upset. They'd be like, "Are you kidding me? What?"
I want to see that celebrity death match.
Yeah,
Hostess versus Little Debbie.
Oh man, I loved Celebrity Deathmatch. That was one of my favorite shows.
Me too.
I heard a few years ago that they were redoing it, but I don't think it ever came to
you're
be.
right.
Just didn't happen.
Yeah, I remember that.
Either that or like it just takes that long to make. It takes like 8 years.
Yeah.
Oh, it was claymation. Right?
Yeah.
they've had a team
No,
of
I think-
Korean
I think
children
went back and
animating this for.
I feel like in
decades.
today's world though, where like celebrities are so like you just want to punch most of them in the face. Like I think Celebrity Deathmatch would do really well today.
And you
I
could
think
probably just put it. You probably wouldn't have to actually do the claymation. You could just do it with like computers and.
Yeah.
Well,
Create
yeah, maybe,
computer
but the
rendered
claymation
versions.
adds another.
I
level
bet you could
to
make it look exactly the same with like just putting claymation models into a computer and wonging them around.
I think what's different is it used to be we used to know like 3 or 4 things about a celebrity and like that's everything we knew about them and that didn't change. And like now, like
You know everything about
it,
them.
now
it's
I
like
can't
what
even
you said
keep-
with Carrie Fukunaga. It's like you just found that out today.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if Carrie Fukunaga was on Deathmatch last night and, you know, they were like making fun of some other thing
It's
that he did.
instantly outdated.
Yeah.
I can't even keep up with all the crazy shit I know about Kanye. Like they would have to have him on like 3 episodes just to cover it all.
And he's back. Kanye West, ladies and gentlemen, has entered the ring.
Yeah, 'cause, you know, you would have him against Pete Davidson, but, you know, you would have probably already wanted to have Pete Davidson against somebody else, right? Because whatever. I don't know. Remember he was with Kate Beckinsale and who else?
That was weird.
Ariana Grande.
He was with Larry David's
Oh,
daughter.
Ariana Grande was with
He
Mac
was with
Miller,
Larry
who was
David.
another Larry David.
Larry
He
David's
was
daughter.
briefly dated Larry King. Which
Yeah,
actually
Larry
makes
King.
sense for both of them.
Larry King was on a Celebrity Deathmatch, I'm pretty sure.
We are coming to the end game of this movie. What did we think about the finale where Harry sees a vision of Sirius Black?
I mean, it's one of those moments where you're like, no, don't go there. Like,
Right.
it's a trap.
It's a trap.
Like,
Yeah,
but we have to go there.
he's got to go there.
He's got to be stupid.
And as much as we all love Hogwarts, we also want to get out of Hogwarts. You
Yeah.
know, we've been here for
Yeah, this
the
whole
whole
movie has been in Hogwarts. There's been no, I mean, even the
Well,
Dursley
it
scene
started
was-
off at Sirius's house in London.
A little,
so
yeah.
little, but yeah.
The Ministry's a cool like location.
Mm. Yeah.
Removing Quidditch from the movie though eliminates like a cool outdoor like scene that
Right.
changes things up. You know.
But they have that room that they do the magic in, so that's kind of like a different set.
Yeah, it's just a boring like square room. That
The room
doesn't
of
have,
Got
requirement.
mirrors.
I guess.
You know what I like about the Room of Requirement is the dummy that they fight against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a cool mask.
It's basically like the danger room.
I was just gonna say it's got a what are those called? The Sentinel.
That's like a very bargain basement danger
Yeah,
room
exactly.
feel.
Well, they should have required something better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. We don't require this to be nice.
We don't require refreshments
Yeah.
or a changing area.
I thought this scene was cool when he's like, he kind of gives Snape information in code.
Yep.
He's like, the thing that is.
Yeah, Padfoot is in the place where the thing is, or whatever.
Right,
But then, like, Umbridge, like, is like, oh, yeah, he doesn't know what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
like when Snape's like, I have no idea what he's saying. And then she's
It's
like,
because
oh, okay. But, like,
it's because he sells it so good.
Really?
Snape turns around, he's like, no idea.
Yeah.
But-
Snape is just so weird all the time.
Yeah.
That was
You
a
have no
pretty good
idea what he's
Alan
talking
Rickman.
about.
No idea.
what is he
yeah.
talking about, Snape?
Hello, Potter.
That wasn't a good
Oh, I
one.
That
have
wasn't good.
No.
It was
no
good.
idea.
Nice
no
try, though.
idea.
No idea.
Yeah, I think that this is
Yippee-ki-yay.
A cowboy.
And Hermione saves the day.
Hermione saves the day as always because Hermione is the brains of the operation and the most competent wizard. Oh, I love the line at the beginning where the lady who's who is in the Muggle world,
Yeah,
who sees him,
yeah.
and she's like, they told me you were smart. And I'm like, who told you he was smart? That person is not your friend. They have
Yeah.
lied to you. This is not a smart boy. He is the last one to get it every single time.
I think this is my favorite striped shirt that Hermione wears.
Yeah, she wears stripes pretty well.
Yeah. This is my favorite Ron shirt, too.
It's a pretty good Ron shirt.
a big-
He's gone plaid.
He's gone plaid. I love orange and brown. I think they look nice.
Those are like my least favorite colors and my least favorite color combination. Which explains a lot. Like, we don't dress alike.
Nope, we don't.
We will never share clothes.
No.
We'll be dressed alike tomorrow night, though. We got these
we got
brand new
jerseys.
dope ass.
Like, what is the story here? Like, what,
we got
We've
on
decided
tomorrow.
to start dressing alike.
just tomorrow night though. Just on Wednesdays.
tomorrow.
No, we're at a basketball team and we just got brand new dope ass pink jerseys.
Yeah.
Pink?
They're
Very
pink
bright-
squiggly jerseys.
Very bright pink
Okay.
squiggly jerseys.
I want to see a picture.
Yeah.
Do you have them here?
I was very close.
We're going to get them tomorrow.
I got mine last week because I saw Zach on Thursday, and I was very close to wearing it here just to show it.
just to show it off.
Yeah,
Damn.
pretty classic. It felt very Umbridge-y.
Harris has a little pillbox hat.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So here's where she's
I'm
taken
excited.
to be ravaged by
I
centaurs.
wanted to like Google, see if there's any information about her and the centaurs.
Mm.
And when I typed in Umbridge, and the first next word is centaurs, like in the
Oh.
search. So everyone's searching for
So everyone wants to know what the deal is. there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did anyone come to any conclusions?
a.
I fear the worst.
According to legend, centaurs had a nasty habit of abducting women, dragging them into the forest, and raping them repeatedly.
Wow, that's interesting.
In the Harry Potter world or just in general?
Oh, in the general.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, because that's I knew that, but I was curious about the
If you saw a horse's rear end, but the front of it was obscured, would you be attracted to it?
I can't see the front at all. Yeah, it's in a barn or something.
Well, I guess I would then. It was a horse.
Oh, come on.
And then the part he asks him about centaur porn, and he's like, "If I were to cover up the bottom of the screen with
Would you be
a piece of
aroused?
cardboard,
Yeah, it just specifies with a piece of cardboard. Would you be aroused?
It's like the best, most underrated sketch of all time.
We're
It's
talking
so
about my
cheesy.
medical qualifications, please.
Yeah.
No. It's
The
only
remaining-
centaur questions.
Yeah,
for
the
rest of
remaining
the
interview.
rest of the
Questions.
questions will be centaur questions."
Oh my god! I love when he walks in the beginning and it's like clearly the horse. The back end is on wheels. It's like so crappy.
But they have the tail whipping around.
And they do a foley of like,
Yeah.
The horse
Clop, clop,
trotting.
clop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't oil the wheels though. They could foley the hoofs, but they couldn't oil the wheels.
We're back
Here's
on the bridge.
I appreciate it a lot more now after hearing you guys.
I think what's the opposite of the MVP, like the LVP, right?
Yeah,
the
least valuable.
is Ginny Weasley. I mean,
she's really bad in this one.
she's bad always.
But it's like sucks because I know she's gonna be a more important character. So like when watching this one, I'm like, oh man, like that's when
I would say
like bad
going
casting
back
job.
on what I said earlier about the casting, that is probably their biggest slip up. She's just so.
She isn't given a lot to do, so I'm gonna withhold judgment because I just see her in the background.
I'll
I just
give
see
her
in the
the benefit
background
of the
giving
doubt.
side eyes, which I kind of appreciate because I'm like, oh yeah, she's got a thing for Harry. Oh, she hates Joe. This all makes sense. But-
She does look related to Rupert Grint also.
So what you're saying is they got the hair color right,
No,
Yeah.
like her face is like kind of the same shape, kind of.
round.
I wasn't gonna
Human shaped.
Yeah, yeah. She didn't have one of those.
I feel like you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, and you're.
No, it's good that they didn't cast somebody with like a bat face.
Like Luna Lovegood is in one movie and already like we're in love with her.
Yeah.
She's a great
Yeah.
character, right?
Yeah.
Iconic.
Luna Lovegood's the best.
Yeah. She barely. I mean, she doesn't do a lot in this movie. She just kind of says a
Says
couple of funny
weird-
lines.
weird
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I love how she's always like kind of looking
Out there.
at something you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Like
I would love to like
including
be
right
a
after she
fly.
gets punched in the face.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall for the casting where they like found her and she's just like doing that, like looking out and they're like, she's perfect.
I saw a couple of memes about that, and it's like it always says something like there's some quote of like the casting director being like, yeah, we interviewed a lot of people and some of them were really good, but like that girl is the character. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, this meme was specifically about her.
yeah, like some of the like Harry Potter memes are just like random facts, like with a picture, you know, and so like behind the scenes facts, or facts that are like the book is this way and the movie's this way, stuff like that. But all the ones about her is like, yeah, they interviewed a lot of people and some of them were really good at playing Luna Lovegood, but this girl was Luna Lovegood.
Yeah, that's good. You ever watch like those? Some movies have the special feature where you could see like the casting, the chemistry sessions where they have like other actors come in to see if they whatever, and like I'm trying to think if there's some famous ones like, this isn't a casting thing, but like what's his name is Marty McFly. They had a different actor,
Crispin Glover. And then they replaced Crispin.
No. Eric
Stoltz.
Stoltz. Yeah,
They replaced Eric Stoltz with.
Yeah, like you see pictures of him dressed as Marty McFly, and you're like,
They shot half that movie.
yeah.
And then they fired him, and they were like, "This isn't working."
What else is Eric Stoltz in? Because Eric Stoltz, like,
He's in Mask. The
Jim Carrey mask?
not the Mask, just Mask. About I forget his name.
About a haunted, enchanted mask that grants superpowers.
No, it's he has like a messed up face.
Yeah, Rocky.
Is it about masking tape?
I haven't seen it, but
It's like a very interesting film.
It's Cher plays his mom. Yeah, and he's the kid with a giant thing on his.
He's
face.
got like a deformed face. Yeah, and
It's like elephant face.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
did his scar change?
I have not seen that.
But you wouldn't know he's in it because he's got heavy makeup, like heavy
right.
prosthetics.
And that was his big breakout, and I feel bad for him because like
Yeah,
that's the thing that he was best known for.
The only other thing I know that he's in is Pulp Fiction.
Well, he was a brat packer too, so he was in like was it Some Kind of Wonderful and like
he is in that.
stuff like that.
He's the drug dealer in
Oh, is that guy?
Pulp Fiction.
That's like a ginger guy.
A what?
A ginger guy.
Yes,
Oh,
he
yeah.
could be a Weasley.
Yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking about now. When you said the drug dealer in Pulp Fiction, I was like, oh, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, he's like wearing a robe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're fully into like the final sequence of this movie here.
They're fighting Death Eaters, who have better masks in this one.
Yeah, and they have no like issue like revealing who they really are.
Yep, they're just completely. It's on.
Like this is a guy who's like at Hogwarts half the time, right? Like couldn't Harry just be like, "Yo, Dumbledore, that dude's a Death Eater."
Well, I think their idea is that they're not supposed to survive. You know.
Well, that's the thing. Like the Wizarding world is so like corrupt politically. Is like as soon as Voldemort's alive, these people are like prominent members of the community again. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
She's fresh out of prison for life. And she's like, I'm rich.
So are all these little globes prophecies? And how important are these prophecies? Because they destroy a lot of them in this scene.
Yeah,
like lots.
Some are prophecies, some are memories, most are farts.
Yeah. I feel like they went a little overboard with this. Like, at some point, when does the ministry like cut down on the prophecy storage? Like,
it's also really not well organized.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Like,
there are
there's
like
just
these towers are like, what, 5 stories tall? It's absurd.
And like, if they're prophecies, if it's a prophecy from like, you know, the 1300s, it probably already came true and is like no longer valid.
Yeah, you'd think that there would be like expiration dates on these. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is old. This is old. This is old.
Unless these are all the
Hitler,
active
we had that.
prophecies going on, like
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah, like there's a whole section just on Hitler prophecies. They're like, nope, get rid of all
Yeah,
the
exactly.
clearance of space. Get rid of all the Hitler prophecies. Why didn't anybody do anything about those? I don't know. They were in the back, and we were going to get to them.
was
How
an
does
oversight.
warehousing them help anyone?
Yeah. We needed Hitler to come in and tell us what they were. He was the only one that could touch them. He refused.
Are they all the kind of prophecies that are like kind of gibberish until they come true? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, there'll be a dark day on this day.
It's like a limerick.
Yeah.
Vaguely Nostradamus.
Yeah. It's like Nostradamus. A bunch of Nostradamus came true because it was vague enough to be anything, you know?
Bad stuff will happen in the future.
Yeah, bad
That's
stuff
not my prophecy. Shit will get shitty.
Yeah.
He's right. Shit will get shitty.
Oh my God, this shit got so shitty. He's a genius.
I like how she takes a punch to the Luna Lovegood takes a punch to the face and doesn't even seem to notice. So she's like, it's knocked out her ass.
She's like gargling blood.
Yeah, she's bleeding all over the place. She doesn't care. That's the part where it's like a weird cut where like Neville apparently knocked some guy in his ass, but we don't see
it happen.
Action, and all of a sudden she's standing next to him saying, "Good job, Neville."
Well,
it's like they forgot to shoot something and got into the editing room, and they were like,
"I can
wait,
tell you what
we
it is.
forgot to." What is it?
Her and Neville end up together, so they cut it to where they were in a scene like for just like a couple seconds.
But still, so maybe they were just like.
I mean, I haven't seen the rest of the movie,
so maybe they were just cobbling together like.
Yeah, they were trying to put them on the screen.
Yeah,
together.
so they had a shot of a guy falling down, and they were like, "Here, we'll just throw her and Neville in a scene." And why couldn't they have gotten Neville to stand there alone and zap something first?
It just feels like a choice, but like a weird one. You know, it's like
like a choice to not edit things properly.
But I immediately because should I admit to watching ahead or not admit to watching ahead?
I wish you'd stop admitting to watching ahead.
But that's when I saw that, I immediately thought the same thing you did. But then I was like, oh, it's just to get them two in a shot together.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I just don't understand. Like, look at all these prophecies getting destroyed. Yeah. I just don't understand why they cut it together so choppily. Like, it seems like if they're going to reshoot the two of them in that moment, they could have also reshot Neville doing the action that leads to the guy falling on the ground, that leads to her coming over and saying, "Nice job, Neville. I think you're cute."
Agree. With the scene we just saw, should the movie have been called Harry Potter and the Shatterballs?
Harry Potter and the Walls of Balls.
Both excellent titles. Harry Potter and Ball Mania.
So what's this dealie all about here? This
it's like a gate to seeing dead stuff, I think, right?
Is that what it is?
Because Hermione's like, there's nothing there, Harry. Like, we don't.
And
but Harry and Luna see stuff because
they know that it's something about death, and that's where Sirius gets sucked in when he gets killed. Which, by the way, like, I don't really understand. You're not supposed to give someone the death curse, right? That's like the unforgivable curse. Nobody can use it.
It depends on who's in power.
But I kind of don't understand that these guys are going to fight these dark wizards who don't have a problem using the death curse. And they're not going to, like, it's like this Batman thing all over again, but it's a real disadvantage. And I feel like that's like, you gotta, I don't know. I was surprised that Sirius didn't take greater precautions knowing that death curses would be flying around.
Yeah, that was foolish on his part. But Harry does come to the realization that he has to murder someone in this movie. True. And he tells Dumbledore, like, yo, I'm going to have to, it's kill or be killed out there.
Yeah. And Dumbledore's like, oh, yeah, you didn't know that? Holy shit.
Yeah. He's like,
you really are slow. Man, you're of all my students, you've always been the slowest.
But how Dumbledore basically is like, I didn't want to like stress you out more than you already are.
Yeah.
He's like, are you have a hard enough life?
I also feel like
I'd hate to be you.
Yeah. I also feel like they are playing up that Dumbledore is getting old to where he's like, oh, yeah.
That's right.
I didn't realize that. I mean, I did realize that, but I forgot. But now I'm realizing it again.
Am I wearing pants?
Am I wearing pants? Yes, you're always wearing pajamas. You've been wearing your pajamas for 8 years.
You mean under your robe? I assume no. You do have your robe tucked into the back of your underwear.
Oh, yes, Harry.
I assume from... Yes, I just went to the privy.
Don't give me that lip, Beverly.
Dumbledore in the exact same costume, but in tighty whities with the back of the costume tucked into tighty whities would be so fucking funny.
Beverly, we're out of toilet paper.
Why do they want the prophecy?
Yeah, don't they already know what it says?
Right. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's a big question for me that I was asking.
I thought for sure in this
And
scene
you've watched ahead,
it was
so
going to
you-
be that he gave them the wrong, like he swapped.
Right, that's what I
crystal
thought
balls.
too.
Yeah.
But even so, it's like, why did they want it?
And it just got destroyed. So this
Yeah.
is this
If that was the only prophecy.
apparently this was Voldemort's big plan to give him an advantage, and it's got wrecked.
Right.
So I guess
Well,
that's
did he
why.
really need the prophecy, or was this whole thing just to get Harry here so that Voldemort can appear and try to kill him?
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
that was it.
Well, because
That would make sense.
Lucius Malfoy acts like the prophecy is necessary.
Well, maybe
but
Lucius
Voldemort acts more like it was just to lure him.
Maybe
there.
Lucius Malfoy isn't the integral
brains.
to the plan. Yeah,
He doesn't
he's on a
seem
need
like-
to know basis.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's like really into being a Death Eater, but he doesn't seem like he's the best Death Eater.
Yeah.
Have we talked about this actor? Like, he's good. He's like a really good villain.
Lucius?
Lucius, yeah. I know we
Yeah.
talked about him a little bit. He's also in Event Horizon, which is one of my
And
low-key
he's the villain
favorites.
from The Patriot as well, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
we mentioned that.
Why aren't we remembering his name though?
Jason Isaacs.
Yeah, Jason Isaacs. I'm trying to remember what else he's in. He's in a lot of good things. He's a good bad guy.
Yeah, he's like the Patriot is like that's definitely in his top.
Does
4.
he always have long bleach blonde hair?
No. He does have a ponytail in the Patriot.
He normally looks kind of like James Bondy.
Yeah.
He actually has a little bit of Timothy Dalton-ness about him, like kind of that long Hoagie Carmichael-esque face.
Hoagie Carmichael.
Ogie Carmichael.
Oh, Sirius Black. You.
It all happens
Dummy.
so fast. Wait, is this when the scream comes?
Yeah, and it's a silent scream right here.
Helena Bonham Carter, Bellatrix, she could have.
Why isn't she blasting away?
Yeah,
she
she
should
could
be killing all of them.
easily. She could easily wiped out Harry and Wolfman. Like,
I think she like
David
enjoys
Phillips.
killing people, and it's kind of like this feeling of like I'm gonna get to them.
oh yeah, she's still like, she's
like
still
she
creaming.
relishes
I mean,
it. She's not about just like
Biding her time.
you know.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, she's like savoring it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned that Jason Isaacs was on Star Trek Discovery, Colin.
Oh, I didn't realize he was.
Whoa.
Speaking of Star Trek, I started watching Strange New Worlds,
Yeah.
the new one. Did you watch it?
I've only seen like the first third of it.
Yeah, same here. And
I thought he was going to say, I've only seen the first 30.
I didn't like the actor who played Spock. I don't like that it's
I don't like him.
It's like, and they mentioned Kirk, like they're gonna show Kirk. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, this is too. I don't like the recasting of actors.
It's like
and stuff.
it's like just make a show. Like you don't have to like make a show that's like the script is a bunch of references.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that too, but I feel like you guys are usually in favor of fan service like that.
Well, I don't like recasting of actors.
I don't like you presuming to know what I like.
Yeah.
No, I do like some fan service stuff, but you have to be in service of the fans. You can't.
Oh, here we go. Dumbledore just stepped into the motherfucking ring.
About to wreck some shit.
His pajamas tucked into the back of his tidy whities.
It's like, Beverly, there you are.
Where am I?
It'd be cool if they just started rap battling.
Yeah.
Look how he's holding his wand. What a weirdo.
Voldemort's gestures are the best.
You better lose yourself. Mom spaghetti.
What is the should we start summing this thing up? This movie's gonna be over and we're looking at me.
Yeah, it's about that time.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Let me pull up the old score sheet here. I liked this movie. It didn't grab me the way the last one did, but I do like the direction that it's going, and I like what they introduce in this. We got some new crazy characters. The effects we didn't really talk about. They look pretty good in this movie. There's a couple of wonky things, like the giant didn't look great to me, and the creature, the little Dobby elf guy.
This water effect when he tries to drown Voldemort is pretty good though.
Yeah, and the fire and that big water ball that looks cool.
Another ball.
A lot of balls.
A lot of balls in this movie. You might say this is a ballsy film. Bollocks. I gave the last movie a 9, which is high praise.
What did I give the last movie? I like that one too.
You gave it an 8. Yeah, I gave Prisoner of Azkaban an 8 too, and I would say, I don't know. I think I like Azkaban better than this. I think for me, This is Are we doing half scores? Are we like just trying to stick with that? I don't know. I mean, I feel like I might have to pull out my first half score here because I don't know.
I think we could go down to like the 100th place.
I'm gonna go 7.5 for this.
7.50.
What?
7.50 or
Yes.
okay.
Colin, you want to go?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the things that you said.
I feel like that's how you start almost all of your summations.
Yeah,
I
well,
agree with many things.
well, for
and
a
other
long
things I
time-
disagree with.
Yeah. For a long time, it was always a problem that I used the summations as a platform to ramble on about stuff that maybe wasn't even relevant. So I'm trying to turn a new leaf and ramble on without saying anything and just repeating whatever's been said already.
As little content as possible.
Yeah. That's how it's done. And so, this one's pretty good. Umbridge is the most hateable villain. Voldemort's finally there. Harry's like actually doing stuff. Radcliffe's acting better.
Can I just point out, I love when Voldemort's torturing him here at the end, and you're getting flashes inside his head, and there's those shots of Voldemort, and it just looks like
It's like a music video.
Yeah, it looks like some '80s rock star in a music video, or some '90s like hair rock guy who's like in front of some blue screen background.
It's like something like Envo.
What's that famous 80s video where it's all like the women in the skirts playing the band?
Might as well face it.
Addicted to
You're
Love.
addicted to love.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
like he's just replaced.
It just
replaced the Addicted to Love guy with Voldemort.
It just seems like he should be, instead of wearing his Voldemort gown, he should be wearing just like a leather vest with nothing on underneath. And be like,
Just like a
Life
chain
is
with a cross.
highway. I'm gonna ride it all night long.
Oh, you know what I like to see? Voldemort in a piano key necktie. That's super relevant to me. Making my
We just saw Voldemort in a
summary remarks.
hoodie as Harry's seeing him in his reflection.
Oh yeah.
All right, sorry, Colin, I interrupted your thing.
Voldemort's just having a great time inside of Harry Potter's head.
Yep.
Okay, so anyways,
They've got to shoot me out in 3.
I'm out in 3. Out in 3, I said. Get him off the set. You're a fool, Harry Potter. Look at how I am holding my arms and my wand in this weird way, and I'm standing over you.
No idea.
That's like what he does, right?
And he's like, oh no, they're gonna see me. Whoops.
Fudge is like, ooh.
Ooh, didn't see it. Doesn't count.
But like,
He's back.
He's back.
Yeah, I think.
you know how Voldemort kind of looks like a snake man? Like, didn't he look more human the first time around? Like, are they even sure that's Voldemort? Like, how do they know? Because, like, they know that he has to look like a snake man? Or did he start looking like a snake man before
Yeah,
he
like when
died
did he
the first
stop
time?
looking like Tom Riddle and start looking like a snake man?
That's what I'm asking, yes. Yeah.
Is it gonna affect your score?
Yeah. Can we call somebody? I need a lifeline.
Speaking of your score,
So I'm going to do a 7.57.
There's got to be some rule here.
yeah, we're rounding.
This is so stupid.
We're rounding down.
My goal is to get to the
I'm
thousands place.
writing a 7.5.
Good. All right.
What's that back there on the bed back there? That's a cool thing.
I like this movie more than both of you. I'm going to give it 8 Timothy Dolphins. I think it just worked for me. There's a lot of stuff I didn't understand, and a lot of stuff that I felt was intentionally or unintentionally left incomplete, and I kind of didn't care because like the main plot of the thing and the emotional arc of Harry was really good, and I thought like the action scenes, and I just thought it in general was really good, and the acting has stepped up as we mentioned, which is nice. So
Yeah, it feels almost like the first adult.
yeah,
film.
exactly, and I appreciated that. So yeah, 8
Agree.
Timothy Dolphins. Daniel Leeds.
Yeah, I guess like as a movie, I thought it was great entertainment, and I enjoyed it. The reason why like I feel like my points are going down would just be because of the actual like this within the series of Harry Potter. It's such like a transitionary film from like the point of Voldemort being back to like everyone in this world dealing with it. And to me, like when I think like what was this book, what was this movie about, so much is Umbridge. And although yeah, she might be like this great villain, like I hate her not in the way that I want to hate a villain. I hate her in like the way that something's like annoying, and I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with it. And so like I hate her in a way that like it wasn't like enjoyable for me. And I could love a villain, you know, I love to love a villain. And so for me, hate
versus
and in order to get why they are the way they are, just like something. And I just felt like it was a caricature of a villain in the way that like, you know, Miss Trumbull is and like Matilda, or like these very like specific like female like evil characters that like, you know, hate children basically.
Like Matt said, frustrating too, because she's got so much power.
Yeah.
And nobody can see that she doesn't deserve
Dumbledore's
it.
hiding.
So I'm going to give it, only because I'm also like not going to be voting on the rest of the Harry Potter series, but I'll give it a 7 just because I know which ones I like.
Would you say you have to watch this one in order?
Yeah.
Because it's the order of the Phoenix. The order of the.
He's just making a dumb pun. Ignore him.
I was trying to make a dumber one about the Phoenix Rising, and I didn't get there.
Yeah. Well, perhaps this joke will be born again.
Out of the ashes.
Yes.
Well, there you have it. The Order of the Phoenix. A thing we said literally like twice throughout this entire show.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that I forgot what it even was, but they got a call back to her missing shoes somehow at the end, which I was like, "What?" The first time I saw that, I was like, "What the fuck is that about?"
What was the first time
I thought they were going to reveal what Nargles were. That would have been a funnier.
Is anyone else concerned that like the pair of shoes is the only thing she got back and she lost all of her other stuff? Because she's not concerned about it, but I'm a little concerned.
Well, I don't know I'm not one to question the workings of the Nargles.
Okay.
Daniel Leeds, thanks for flying all the way out here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Show.
See you next year.
Dapper corduroy jacket there.
Oh yeah, that's a fine jacket.
That's like a going off to college jacket. That makes him look older.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like actually.
I actually noticed this the first time we watched that like they almost make them all look more mature. Like, there is like a growth moment.
They fought for their lives.
Yeah.
They've come out on the other side.
Yeah, I like Rupert's outfit too.
Militant.
They always got to end with a shot of Hogwarts in the distance. It's beautiful.
Sorry, I jumped all over your saying thank you to Daniel.
Oh yeah. Daniel, what's going on in your life? What are you working on these days? Anything fun? Any side projects?
Get real personal.
Yeah. Where can the people find about the goings on of Daniel Leeds?
I wish I could share more right now, but I can't at this moment announce anything. But I'm working on a series that'll be on Apple TV hopefully later this year. It's a documentary series, so just look out for that.
Nice. We'll have you on again closer to that, and so you could promote it.
Great.
Probably.
Yeah.
Especially if it comes out a year from today.
It must be about apples.
Daniel's directing a Marvel movie. Cool. And then do you have any I forget if you have social media that you share with people now? No.
Thanks.
Screw the plebes.
Yeah.
I would like to see like a Johnny Appleseed epic. When is that movie coming out?
I don't know.
No one else? Okay.
With like a little pot for a hat. Does he wear what does he wear? Like overalls?
It's a whole epic.
Barefoot?
He's gonna wear like a bunch of different stuff.
It would be
it's
cool.
His whole life.
It would be cool to get to the core of that story.
Yeah, it would. See, now all you got to do is plant the seed.
That joke was just on the skin of my teeth.
You guys are just gonna sit here in silence until you come up with new dumb puns for apples.
Harris, why do you have to be a bad apple over there?
Yeah. Why can't you just get lost in the sauce? Applesauce. You got it? Okay.
That's not an expression.
Whatever.
Lost in the sauce. I feel like that's the title of your biography. Lost in the sauce, the Colin Shaw story.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good Irish name. Lost in the Sauce, the Colin Shaw story.
Forget potatoes. We're talking sauce over here.
You're a wizard, Harry. You're a wizard, Harry.
Thank you all for listening, and please remember to rate, review, and subscribe if you like listening to us talk about your favorite film franchises. Thank you to our guest, Daniel Leeds, for flying in all the way from New York. And as always, thank you to Chris Morocco for banging out the You're a Wizard, Harry remix for this series. Subscribe to our Patreon for just $1 a month over at www.patreon.com/L2W. That's www.patreon.com/L2W for just $1 a month. Help support the podcast by joining, and you get instant access to over 50 bonus shows that feature us covering non-franchise classics such as Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Swiss Army Man, Matt Reeves is the Batman, and so much more every single month. Again, that website to join is www.patreon.com/L2W. This show is a part of the Fandom Limb Podcast Network, so please be sure to check out some of their other awesome shows, and also be sure to tune in next time for Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Wizard, Harry. You're a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. Wizard, Harry. You're a wizard. You're a wizard.